Love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Nothing matches the passion, the excitement, the history-making moments of college sports. My goodness! And nobody takes you inside the greatest campuses and stadiums across the country like SiriusXM College Sports Radio. Listen to all of the play-by-play action, expert analysis, and in-depth interviews with your favorite team. No matter the season, we have something for you. Your home for all things college sports is on SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Fantasy football players, learn winning strategies right now on Fantasy Sports Radio to help you draft a winning team on Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Gives the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Last night, for 2/3 of the evening, it was looking pretty good for the Blue Jays, carrying the lead into the 7th inning, but then the Baltimore Bats came alive, scoring 5 runs in the 7th and 8th innings combined, en route to a 7-3 win over the Jays, setting up the rubber match in Game 3 tonight. Welcome, everybody, to the Sportsnet Radio Network. Eric Smith and Madison Shipman with you, alongside host and producer Nick Blackmore, technical directors Tom Young and Andrew Adams. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Belleville and Trenton, Ontario. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Kevin Gausman, 9-8, takes to the hill for Toronto, facing Baltimore right-hander Dean Kramer. It's the Blue Jays and Orioles, and the first pitch is right around the corner. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit bluejays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
The 2024 Training Camp Tour rolls on.
Focus on the football, fellas. Focus, focus.
And SiriusXM NFL Radio brings you down to the field for an all-access pass to your favorite team.
You do your best to put yourself in position to get the result you want.
From the preseason right through Super Bowl 59, hear every game on SiriusXM.
Touchdown!
Hear every stop of the 2024 Training Camp Tour on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
You want baseball? The Doggy has you covered. Tune in to Mad Dog Unleashed for the best baseball coverage anywhere. Weekdays 3 to 6 Eastern. SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Swinging at good pitches, controlling the zone. I always talk about that with Kirky, but He's having some intentful swings when he's putting the ball in play in the zone. It's usually pretty good, but good timing. Again, it's regular playing time, I think, too. When we trade Jano away, that probably helps. Kirky's kind of taken a step forward in terms of how he prepares for a lineup and a pitcher, and he's earned their trust. I think that Jano helped him with that when he was here, and they kind of played off each other really well. But he's taken a big step forward in that aspect, and when you got the pitcher's trust, it's easier for them to go out and make a pitch with conviction.
That's Blue Jays manager John Schneider before the ballgame, chatting about his starting catcher Alejandro Kirk. Kirk coming into the ballgame tonight, batting .251. He will be the number 5 hitter in the Blue Jay lineup, and behind the plate catching Kevin Gausman as we get set for first pitch here at Rogers Center, Game 3 between the Orioles and Blue Jays. Eric Smith and Madison Shipman with you. And before we get to the starting lineups and the Bet365 standings, Madison, I'll ask you about Alejandro Kirk. We heard from John Schneider yesterday chatting about the fact that he foresees, all things being equal, that Kirk could be a guy to play 3 out of 4 games, which would put him in line to play about 120 games over the course of a season. And I think that he's proven in the past as an all-star he can probably do it, certainly with the bat, but it's obviously going to be the wear and tear and the fatigue of catching all of those games.
Yeah, and typically what happens with the catchers, too, when they start to catch that amount of games throughout a season, you start to see a little bit of a dip in the offensive number. So it's trying to find that right balance. But I think if you start preparing Alejandro Kirk now for next season, start training his body to be able to handle that type of workload, he has shown really, and we've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks now, that he's a bat that you'd love to see in there consistently because of the way that he's able to work some counts, but also his contact ability. And yes, at times he's going to roll over into some ground ball double plays, but the way that he's swinging recently, the way that he's able to get his barrel underneath the baseball and really make those pitchers work, along with what he brings and the value that he brings back behind the plate, I do think that he is somebody, if you work on it now, start preparing now, which I know is tough here at the end of the season, but if you start looking towards 2025 with the workload management for him, I do think that it could be a possibility.
Time to look at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. The Orioles and Yankees again tied atop the American League East at 68 and 47. The Red Sox in third, 61 and 52. The Rays a game above 500 at 57 and 56. And the Blue Jays at 52 and 62. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. Batting first for Baltimore, in left field, Colton Cowser, number 2 hitter. Anthony Santander, who had 2 home runs last night, he's the DH tonight. Gunnar Henderson batting third at short. Ryan O'Hearn, the right fielder, is the cleanup man. Batting fifth, Adley Rutschman, the catcher. Batting sixth at first base, Ryan Mountcastle. Jackson Holliday, the youngster, batting seventh at second base. Cedric Mullins in center field today for Baltimore. He's batting eighth. And Ramon Urias, the third baseman, batting ninth. For the Blue Jays, George Springer, the DH tonight, will lead things off. He'll be followed by Dalton Varsho in center field. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. batting third at first base. Spencer Horwitz at second, the cleanup man. We just talked about Kirk batting fifth. Joey Loperfido in left field, batting sixth. Ernie Clement seventh at third base. Addison Barger in right field tonight will bat eighth. And Leo Jimenez, the shortstop, batting ninth. And it's Dean Kramer for Baltimore against Kevin Gausman, who is on the mound right now in the black jersey, the City Connect jersey. I've been told by our colleague Chris LaRue that apparently they don't call it black. It's, what is it again, Tom? It's like deep Lake Ontario, midnight blue.
I could be making that up, but
no,
I think
you're right.
It is a very, very dark
It's something
navy
like that.
blue.
And it's
Yes.
That's what it is. It's midnight blue inspired by the dark color of Lake
There
Ontario.
we go. Yes.
Sure.
I do like the jerseys, though.
I do.
Whatever you want to call them, whatever the proper name is for them, I do think that they look very, very sharp. I'm a big fan.
It's City Connect night, and we are set to go as Colton Cowser steps in, the left-handed hitter, facing the righty Gausman. And it's under the lights tonight. The lid is closed at Rogers Center. And the first pitch swinging, Cowser sends it on the ride out into right center, but tracking it down on the track is Dalton Varsho, and there's one away.
That four-seam fastball is going to be a very big pitch for Kevin Gausman going up against all of these lefties in the lineup for the Orioles. And Colton Cowser gets a pretty good piece of this fastball that was low and away, but it's Dalton Varsho out there in center field to track down yet another ball in deep center.
Now, I'm not a big fan of the fact that the roof is closed.
I know you're not. I was waiting. I was going to see how far into this ball game that we got before
you
mentioned
batter.
It. Yeah. One pitch.
One pitch, yes, one pitch, not just one batter. But I will say that there is rain in the area. I'm not a meteorologist, but by all accounts, it sounds like there could be rain. I am looking at my radar map, though, and it's not showing any rain until after 11 o'clock. So I think we could have peeled back the lid, but I digress.
From somebody that's had to deal with her fair share of rain delays, I am very thankful for the roof on days like today.
1-1 count to Santander. And he gets underneath one, sends it sky high. And that thing almost hit the roof. And it's going to make its way into the stands about 10 rows deep. And he's now down on the count 1-2. And remember, he had 2 homers in the ball game last night, a big part of that 7-3 win for Baltimore.
And he has three career home runs against Kevin Gausman. 2 of them have come off of the slider, 1 on the four-seam fastball. So I am hoping that we do not see any sliders in this at-bat to Santander.
The 1-2 pitch outside, it's 2-2.
In Gausman's defense, one of the sliders was practically down on the dirt that he somehow managed to get his barrel underneath and drive out to right field. And the fastball that he hit a home run on last season was definitely up and outside of the strike zone. But sometimes you just see pitchers incredibly well no matter where they put it.
Another one fouled off up and over the Blue Jay dugout. Makes its way into the stands, and we'll do it again at 2-2.
We're seeing an example of why Gausman probably had to go to those sliders in the at-bats against Santander, just because he's able to spoil really good pitchers' pitches out of the zone.
The pitch from Gausman, fouled off, just below us. And again, we'll do it at 2-2.
It's another pitch that's easily probably, 3 baseballs off of the plate. And he still somehow is able to flick his wrist pretty much at that baseball and foul it off behind him.
This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat right here. As Gausman gets the sign, the pitch is sent on a pretty decent ride to right field, but plenty of room for Addison Barger to camp underneath, make the grab, and there's 2 away.
Already some good command of that splitter early in this ball game. Perfect location, low and outside. If Santander is going to show you that he's going to continue to swing at pitches that are outside of the zone, you go ahead and stay right back in that area. Comes back with 3 straight splitters to end that at-bat. And that last one gets that fly out to Barger for out number 2.
After Santander, the switch hitter, batted from the left side. It'll be Gunnar Henderson, the lefty, the shortstop. Fouls off the first pitch, straight back into the netting. 0-1 count. First inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And this one sent on a decent ride to right field as well. But Barger over for it to make the grab. The hair's flowing. And there's 3 down as the Orioles go in order. And to the bottom of the first we go. No score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Barrios retires 7 in a row.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Getting set to start the bottom half of the first inning. No score after the Orioles went down in order. Dean Kramer on the mound for the Orioles. 4.39 ERA this season. 4-8 record in 15 starts. And the first batter he faces is George Springer, who swings and misses at that first pitch. The sinker at 91. It's an 0-1 count.
You're going to see Dean Kramer really utilize a combination of four-seam fastballs, cutters, and sinkers, along with the splitter that he's used this year. It's been a very efficient pitch for him. He's been able to get a lot of swings and misses with the splitter to go along with the variety of different fastballs that he's going to throw out there.
And we just saw the cutter right there down in the dirt outside. It's 1-1. And Springer jumps on that pitch, sends it out to second, and it was not handled cleanly by Jackson Holliday. He tried to go for the backhanded stab, and it came right out of his glove, and he had no time to recover to try and get the speedy Springer at first. So George is on to lead off this bottom half of the first.
That ball was hit extremely hard off of the bat of George Springer that Dean Kramer had to duck to get out of the way of it. It was a cutter that was left up in the zone, and he hit it straight back up the middle, and I thought that Jackson Holliday was going to make a play on it, but it looked like maybe he tried to throw to first before he had that baseball secured in his glove. So it ends up going past him, and George Springer reaches base safely.
Dalton Varsho moving up in the order tonight, swings at the first pitch and fouls off that first one. The fastball from Kramer sent back into the netting by Varsho. He's down 0-1, batting .203 coming into the ball game. Varsho, the left-handed bat against the righty Kramer. Springer at first. And the 0-1 pitch is high. It's 1-1. Just to be clear as well, that was, for now at least, unless it changes, it was ruled as a hit for George Springer, not an error on Holliday. I'm a little surprised by that, but
yeah, he hit it really hard, but I still think that Jackson Holliday should have made the play on that ground ball just because of where he was positioned before that ball was put into play.
I agree with you.
George Springer's going to take the hit all day long if you're going to give it to him, but yeah, I'm agree with you. I thought that it was going to be an error off the bat.
Varsho now ahead in the count, 2-1. Kramer looks in at the sign, delivers, and Varsho sends it back, and that's the closest one we've had. It was just below us, a little bit to Madison's left. The hand was out. She was ready.
It was Varsho that hit the other one that made it up into the booth. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the reason for a couple of the dents that we have in our broadcast booth as well.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that one is high outside, and now the count is full. We are in the Timber Mart broadcast booth in the bottom of the first inning with no score, just the second batter of the inning for the Blue Jays. Dalton Varsho, full count with Springer at first. Vladdy on deck, the 3-2 pitch, and it's no good outside, and Toronto gets Varsho on. It's now first and second for Guerrero.
Really good quality at bat right there from Dalton Varsho, who's moved up into that 2 spot today. The only 2 pitches that were even close to the zone pitches that he should swing at were the ones that he fouled straight back. Everything else outside of the zone, he watched it go by and earned his way on base via the walk to set the table for Vladdy.
And Guerrero riding the high of the 19-game hit streak. Would love to keep it rolling right here. The Blue Jays as a team, 11th in Major League Baseball in terms of runners in scoring position. They've got at least one right now with Springer out at second, but Varsho at first as well. None out and 2 on as Vladdy takes the first pitch, a sinker for a ball, 1-0 count. Kramer looks in at the sign. Here's the pitch. Vladdy sends it toward the gap in right center. It's going to make it to the wall. One bounce off the track. Coming around to score is George Springer. And Varsho was about 6 feet from Springer's backside and had to hold up at third as Vladdy goes into second for the double. The hit streak continues, and Toronto leads 1-0 with none out here in the first.
With the base running by George Springer over at second base, it looked like he was trying to be a little bit cautious coming off of second base. He wanted to make sure that that ball was not caught in the air, and because of that, Dalton Varsho ends up taking off pretty quickly from first base, so he was running right on the heels of George Springer that entire way. But how about Vladdy extending that hit streak right here in the first inning with that big double to put Toronto on the board?
And this brings up Spencer Horwitz. Didn't like that call. He thought it was inside. Nate Tomlinson, the home plate umpire tonight. Chris Siegel out at first, David Rackley at second, Larry Vanover at third. And the strike zone was an issue last night. We'll see if it's the same with Nate Tomlinson. The 0-1 pitch fouled off, and now Horwitz quickly down 0-2.
A lot of batters you might worry when they get to an 0-2 count, but not with Spencer Horwitz. I almost feel like he thrives in a two-strike count. I will say being in two-strike counts was not my favorite count to be in, but it seems like that's where Spencer Horwitz really goes to work on taking away some of those marginal pitches on the outside part of the zone.
Now, you played at a vastly significant higher level than I ever did. But I was Ernie Clement. First pitch swinging, and it didn't matter where the pitch was. I was always swinging at the first pitch.
I'm right there with you. That was my goal. I always felt like pitchers were trying to get ahead in the count, so why not take advantage of that and swing at the first pitch? Plus, it's hard to strike out when you swing at the first pitch, too. So there's always that theory as well.
Swing and miss as Horwitz sits down. Couldn't catch up with that 1-2 fastball. Clocked at 94, and it's the first out of the inning, bringing up Alejandro Kirk.
Seems like for Dean Kramer this season, his success on the mound is really dependent upon the location and the execution of that four-seam fastball. He wants to get that pitch up in the zone like the one that Spencer Horwitz just swung and missed at. When he misses down in the zone, that four-seam fastball gets hit hard.
First pitch to Kirk is in there for a strike. Caught the bottom part of the zone on that outside edge. The cutter good. 0-1 count. Vladdy at second, Varsho at third, with one down here in the bottom of the first. And a balk just called, and Varsho is going to take home, and Vladdy up to third. Wow.
Happened so quickly with this balk. Dean Kramer was on the mound. He was getting set, but because he started to make the motion up towards his glove like he was about to get ready to release the ball and then hesitated at the last minute, home plate umpire immediately calls that a balk.
And Madison, he knew right away, Kramer. He didn't really seem to fight it or have an issue with it. He knew he did something wrong, but it seemed like he maybe pointed at Adley Rutschman or at somebody behind in the stands. I'm not sure. He was pointing at something.
It almost looked like maybe you're wondering if there was some sort of miscommunication even on the pitch call, but because he brought up that throwing arm, he tried to hide it really quickly too to see if he could get away with it. But as soon as there's that motion when you're on the mound, you have to continue that motion. And they went ahead and called that a balk, and that's a break in the direction for the Blue Jays.
Kirk down 0-2, chased a pitch that was way high. The four-seam fastball, fouled it off to stay alive, and will do it again at 0-2. Blue Jays leading 2-0 here in the bottom of the first inning. And Kirk sends one into the corner in left field, but it's going to make its way hooking into the stands. And a long foul ball for Alejandro Kirk.
He's been doing a really good job of getting his barrel out in front and pulling balls down the left field line. Typically, when we think of Alejandro Kirk being at his best, he's driving the ball out into the right center field gap, but you also have to be able to still get to those fastballs on the inside part of the plate.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And Kirk, guess what? As you just talked about, turned on this one, sends it into left field for a base hit. Vladdy will score, and the Blue Jays are rolling here in the first, leading 3-0.
From all the at-bats that we've seen so far, it seems like the game plan early in this ball game is to be aggressive. And you saw Alejandro Kirk swinging at a bunch of different pitches in that at-bat, and this one is actually a splitter that's down outside of the zone. But he is so on time with this swing that he's able to get barrel underneath that splitter, diving down in the zone, and still drive it out to left field.
The left-handed batter comes up now, Joey Loperfido, out in left field today. Playing in his second home game for the Blue Jays, batting .227 entering action. He fouls off the first pitch. 0-1 count. Loperfido wearing that blue and red number 9 on the back of the, what is it called again? The black, the deep blue, the what?
I think we're going with midnight blue.
Midnight blue. Midnight blue. I will never get it right. 1-1 count now to Loperfido. And it gets away from Rutschman. And moving up to second base, the speedster Alejandro Kirk.
Things seem to just be spiraling out on the mound for Dean Kramer, whether it's the Blue Jays hitting the ball hard, the Balk, or even this pitch just missing so far out of the zone and up above Adley Rutschman's head that he really didn't have a chance to stop this one. That was actually a splitter out of his hand. That pitch is supposed to be much lower in the zone than it actually was.
And that was, and rightfully so, deemed a wild pitch. Kramer comes back, though, with a strike on a fastball, and now the count is even to Loperfido at 2-2. Blue Jays leading 3-0 here in the bottom of the first inning with only one down. Alejandro Kirk out at second. Loperfido, the lefty, even in the count at 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and Loperfido sits down. There's 2 away.
Seemed like he was just a bit late on that 94-mile-per-hour fastball. I still like his swing. I think he's got a very good, fundamentally sound swing. But on this one, just a tad late on the fastball. Got his barrel underneath too far on that pitch. And strikeout number 2 in this inning for Dean Kramer.
Ernie Clement steps in. First pitch swinging. And sends it foul down the third base line. Clement coming into the ball game batting .271, 6 home runs, 32 runs batted in, and trying to cash in Kirk out at second with 2 down here in the bottom of the first. Second pitch outside, they look down to first, and it's all good. Chris Siegel says it's fine. Clement didn't go. Count even at 1-1. Kramer looks in at the sign from Rutschman. The 1-1 pitch. And it's sent out towards second base. A bit of a bloop right into the glove of Jackson Holliday, and that will do it for the Blue Jays. But they score 3 to lead 3-0 as we go to the second inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
After 10 years, Billy Joel's residency at Madison Square Garden has come to an end. Feel the energy and emotion of the final concert. And hear every magic moment. Playing throughout the week, exclusively on the Billy Joel channel. The final residency concert. SiriusXM, Channel 79, and on the SiriusXM app.
The battle for regional soccer supremacy is on in the Leagues Cup.
Cucho Hernandez, it is him yet again.
And your home for all the top matches is SiriusXM FC.
It's a masterpiece from Andre Pierre-Gignac.
Hear all your favorite teams from Major League Soccer and Mexico's Liga MX fight for the right to be crowned the King of North America.
Miami, Leagues Cup champions.
Keep up with the Leagues Cup on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Be the most informed player in your fantasy football league by listening to the experts on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I want to thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
Hear player rankings, position breakdowns, and expert drafts.
There is no bigger value today than Dak Prescott.
Going deep down the right side, got a man, caught, touchdown Cowboys.
The road to a fantasy football championship begins with Fantasy Sports Radio. Channel 87 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Radio Network.
Second inning presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Top of the second inning, Ryan O'Hearn, the right fielder, steps in for the Orioles, batting from the left side against Kevin Gausman. Blue Jays leading 3-0. First pitch in for a strike. The fastball is good, 0-1 count. O'Hearn batting .268, one of the many with 12 or more home runs. He's got 12 to go along with 46 runs batted in, and he sends a line drive to center field. Tracking back about 6-8 feet to make the grab is Dalton Varsho. There's one away.
Already in this ballgame, there's been a couple of hard-hit balls to the outfield, but they haven't been able to square them up perfectly. So the right side of that outfield, especially between Addison Barger and Dalton Varsho, seems like it's going to be getting a lot of work today.
And guess what? Another lefty. Granted, it's a switch hitter, but batting from the left side, it's Adley Rutschman. When you count lefties and switch hitters, there are 7 batters, 7 of the 9 batting from the left side tonight for Baltimore, with only Ryan Mountcastle and Ramon Urias going from the right side. And Rutschman takes that first pitch. It's in for a strike. The fastball is good, and it's an 0-1 count.
It's pretty interesting when you look at the season that Adley Rutschman has had, and I was actually speaking with play-by-play announcer Kevin Brown for the Baltimore Orioles about his season so far this year.
This one sent to center field on a line, but guess who's there? Dalton Varsho to make the grab.
It was really the 0-1 counts that stood out to Kevin when I was talking to him about Adley Rutschman. And when you look at his stats in 0-1 counts last season, he was batting over .430 in 0-1 counts. This year, that number has dropped down to 200.
Wow.
But he barely missed a base hit there on that 0-1 count, hit a hard line drive straight out to center field.
So Ryan Mountcastle, one of those 2 right-handed bats, steps in right now. The Baltimore first baseman batting .268. Takes the first pitch down low, and a 1-0 count. Varsho out in center field has recorded 3 of the 5 outs thus far in this ball game, with the Blue Jays leading 3-0 here in the top of the second inning. The 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Got him with the fastball, 1-1.
It seemed after that first pitch, that first four-seam fastball that Gausman threw, he wasn't satisfied with the location on it. He ended up missing down in the zone, comes right back to that same pitch, and gets a swing and miss from Mountcastle, who has had some pretty solid career numbers against the Jays.
8 home runs in this building specifically. And he's now down in the count, 1-2. Gausman trying to sit down the Orioles in order for a second straight inning to start this game. Digs in on that rubber, looks in at the sign from Kirk. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouled off by Mountcastle. He stays alive. We'll do it again.
Sticking with the hard stuff, too. Another sinker that came in. Pretty good velocity on that one, 96 miles per hour. Pretty interesting to see where the outfield is shaded, too. You've got Joey Loperfido, who's playing more in left center field. Dalton Varsho is definitely on the right field side of center field, with all these pitches working inside.
And now Mountcastle sends one out to left field, camping underneath it with ease to make the grab, Joey Loperfido. So again, the Orioles go down in order. We head to the bottom of the second. Toronto leading 3-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Witches, wizards, and muggles, come down to the core as Roger Center transforms into Hogwarts. Harry Potter-themed entertainment and activities around the ballpark. Magic moments create core memories. So fly down to Rogers Center on Friday, August 9th, and get one of 4 Blue Jays Harry Potter Hogwarts House Raglan shirts. Harry Potter Night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
We're twomeninatruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think twomeninatruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think twomeninatruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, twomeninatruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
George Springer has given the Blue Jays the lead once again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Eric Smith and Madison Shipman with you in the Timber Mart broadcast booth, bottom of the second inning, as Addison Barger steps in for the first time in this ball game. The left-handed bat of Barger against the righty Kramer, and Barger swings at the first pitch, sends it into shallow left field, but back, tracking it down, making the grab is third baseman Ramon Urias, and there's quickly one down.
Looks like Addison Barger just saw the first curveball from Dean Kramer that we've seen so far in today's ballgame. Every once in a while, he'll throw them early in the count to try to get ahead. Addison Barger goes after that curveball up in the zone, but just gets a bit jammed up on it and hits it for a fly ball the opposite direction.
And this brings up the number 9 hitter for the Blue Jays, the right-on-right battle with Kramer against Leo Jimenez with 3 doubles last night. And he would love to get things rolling again right now. He swings at the 1-0 pitch, fouls it off, and it goes off his leg. Not too bad, it seems. He's kind of flinching a little bit, trying to flex out that right leg. Seems no worse for the wear as he steps back in.
He has the padding on the left leg, but of course it ends up hitting the right leg.
The 1-1 just missing outside. Rutschman tried to frame it, but it was outside the zone. And a good eye there from home plate umpire Nate Tomlinson. Jimenez now ahead in the count, 2-1. And now 3-1 as the cutter is high and no good, and Jimenez will try to get on here to bring up the top of the order.
John Schneider was asked before the game about Leo Jimenez in the game that he had last night, and he thought he did a really good job of controlling the zone up at the plate.
Fouls that one off. Count is full.
And so far in this at-bat, it's another example of just the quality of at-bats that he's able to produce. A couple of those cutters aren't missing by much out of the zone, but enough to where he's very confident in his eye up at the plate, watching those go by, try to get something that's a little bit better for him to hit.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. And it's no good. I had to wait for a second because I'll tell you, it looked like from our vantage point, it might have caught the bottom part of that zone. But Nate Tomlinson says no, gives the base to Jimenez. Take it and run if you're a Blue Jay fan.
Adley Rutschman still speaking with Tomlinson after that call was not given to the Orioles, because I agree with you, Eric. I thought that one clipped the bottom part of the zone with the sinker. It definitely looked like there was at least half of a baseball in that strike zone.
And our Sportsnet TV friends giving us a nice long look at Brandon Hyde, who has that look of disgust on his face after getting tossed last night.
Different part of the zone that they were arguing about yesterday. It was the top part of the zone that had a tendency to be a bit fluid in favor of the Blue Jays yesterday. A lot of those calls going against the Orioles, hence why Hyde ended up getting tossed at some point.
First pitch to Springer was a sinker for a strike, and now Springer just swung and fouled off the second pitch, so he's quickly down 0-2. Springer got on base to start this ball game, and I just looked up at the scoreboard to confirm that call was not changed at all, so it was a base hit in the first inning for George Springer, looking to get on again right here with Jimenez at first. But he's down 0-2, the pitch. Outside, and I'll tell you again, that looked like it might have caught the outer edge of the zone. The Blue Jays getting some gifts here in the second inning.
Even looked like a bit of a sigh of relief on the face of George Springer after that one ends up getting called a ball.
And now Springer gets a piece of that one, and Rutschman unable to squeeze. So it hits the dirt, and that keeps Springer alive, down in the count 1-2.
He wasn't taking any chances on that last pitch. That cutter down and outside of the zone probably would have been called a ball, but he didn't want to leave it into home plate umpire Tomlinson's hands, so he took a cut at that one and fouled it straight back.
And now Springer chops one out to second, but Holiday was shading over towards second base. And now as he picks it up, he throws wide of the bag, allowing Springer to get to first. So we talked about hit or error in the first at bat. That's got to be an error right there on Jackson Holiday.
Yeah, that one's definitely going to be a throwing error, and it's a tough day defensively so far for Holiday. You mentioned that one up the middle. This one looks like it's going to be an easy out over at first base. He has plenty of time to gather his feet and make a solid throw over to Ryan Mountcastle at first base, but that one just sails to his right, forcing Mountcastle to come off of first base and Springer being safe.
And now Dalton Varsho steps in and fouls off the first one down the left field line, deep into the stands, 0-1 count.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, with Dean Kramer. He has been on the receiving end of some poor defense from the Orioles. And typically when things start to spiral out of control for the Orioles, you can look at their defense, and especially their infield defense not being solid. And so far in this inning, that's what we've seen.
First and second for the Blue Jays with one away. Varsho now sends this one out to second, a chance for Holiday to redeem himself. He flips it over to short, and a great slide into second by Springer negates the throw from Gunnar Henderson. So safe at first is Varsho. The inning will continue with runners now on the corners for the Jays with two away. It's Jimenez at third, Varsho at first, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stepping up.
It's always funny how the game of baseball works, too. Just when you start to feel unsure of yourself defensively, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to see at least a couple more ground balls. So sure enough, the next ground ball goes straight to Jackson Holiday. Makes a much better throw on that one. I thought it was a smart move, too, by Gunnar Henderson over at shortstop to not throw that ball to first base because they did not have a chance to get Varsho.
Vladdy with a double in his first at-bat. And now he sends one out to right field. Got underneath it a little too much, though, and it's not going to make it to the stands as running over toward that foul line. In fair territory, though, Ryan O'Hearn makes the grab. Sits down Vladdy and sits down the Blue Jays as Toronto doesn't get any on the board there. They threaten but come away with nothing. Still leading, though, 3-0 as we go to the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or seventh-inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Jose Berrios, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Belleville and Trenton, Ontario. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Kevin Gausman with the first pitch into Jackson Holiday, and it's no good. Missing outside with the fastball, 1-0 count. Holiday in 17 games with 4 home runs, batting .190. And we've seen that power a few times against the Blue Jays over the last week plus.
Jackson Holliday looking to make a little bit of history today, too. If he were to hit a home run today, he'd become the second youngest player in the modern era to homer in 4 consecutive games.
And it won't be a homer this time. A quick skip on a little line drive over to Vladdy. He picked it up off the dirt, ran over, took the out himself, stepped on the bag. There's one away.
Only player younger to do it if Jackson Holliday were to hit a home run today, Ronald Acuna Jr. in 2018. Pretty good company there.
Absolutely. The 4 home runs he has, it seems like everyone has left the yard in a hurry. He has got some power, no doubt. Cedric Mullins now comes up, another lefty bat for the Orioles. Playing in center field today. Batting .217, but he does have power as well, seemingly like every Baltimore batter. 11 home runs, 38 runs batted in 104 games. The 0-1 pitch fouled off and quickly down now 0-2. Under the roof tonight at Rogers Center on a Thursday evening with the Blue Jays leading 3-0 here in the top of the 3rd inning. Mullins skies one out into left field, and underneath it to make the grab is Joey Loperfido. There's 2 away. You know what? We're about, 6 inches away at first base from everything being in the air for Baltimore.
I was just about to say the only out that's been made on the ground was that ground ball off the bat of Jackson Holliday. Everything else so far off the bat of the Orioles has been up in the air. A couple of them hit pretty hard off of the bat too, but outs nonetheless.
And that one that Vladdy got is officially a ground ball. Like I say, it was about 6 inches away from being a line drive. Ramon Urias, the second and only second righty bat in the lineup for the Orioles, the number 9 hitter. Ahead in the count 1-0, batting .236 on the season in 71 games. Urias swing and a miss, count even at 1-1.
It's pretty interesting, too, looking at Kevin Gausman's ground ball rate for the season. He typically gets ground balls at a rate of 38%, so that's going to put him in the 25th percentile. So not a ton of ground balls, but definitely today, all but 1 have been fly ball outs.
Urias swinging at that 1-1 pitch, got a piece of it on the splitter. Down into the dirt, though. Count sits now at 1-2.
All those fly balls, too, I definitely think are a product of these batters going up there with the game plan to try to get barrel underneath the splitter to go along with the fastball that he's been able to locate more in the top part of the zone.
Gausman back with that one, and Gausman missed down low with that splitter. Count even at 2-2. On the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill. New York hosting the Angels. It's 1-1, bottom of the second. And again, the Yankees and Orioles tied atop the American League East, entering action tonight. One other one to tell you about, just because it's already a final and it's a big number. Milwaukee beats Atlanta 16-7.
Braves came back just a little bit. When I was checking that score earlier, Milwaukee was up 13-3, so they tried to come back. But when you're giving up 16 runs in a game, you're not going to win very many of those.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and Urias dribbles it foul just beyond the Blue Jay dugout. It rolls over to the wall. We'll do it again at 3-2. The pitch from Gausman, too far inside, and a free pass. It's a 2-out walk for the Orioles and a chance to maybe try and do some damage now with the top of the order coming up.
Just a little bit of frustration from Gausman after he released that pitch. It's almost like he felt it as soon as it came out of his hand. He knew that that was not going to be in the location that he wanted against Urias. That was another one of those splitters that just got away from him on the arm side of the plate. Gives up that free pass with 2 away.
And first pitch swinging, Colton Cowser sends it on a ride out to left field, and it just keeps going into the Blue Jay bullpen. Off the bat, I wasn't sure it was going to go, and it just kept riding. And I mentioned with Urias with the walk, Baltimore would try to do some damage, and they do. It's now 3-2 Toronto on the Colton Cowser 2-run shot.
And those are the types of home runs that can get you into trouble. Oftentimes, the solo home run's not going to hurt you, but when you give up the walk, when you give up the free pass right before home runs, that's when the score starts to run up on you. And all of a sudden, what looked like a very comfortable lead early in this ball game gets cut down to just 1 run.
And the inning continues with Anthony Santander, who, of course, with one swing could easily tie it. Batting from the left side, the switch hitter looks at a first pitch strike. It's an 0-1 count to Santander. The 0-1 is popped up. It's making its way kind of towards us. Madison's got the arm out. You need about 15 more feet.
The problem with those ones, because they're hit so incredibly high, I lose sight of them. So I know if I try to stick my head outside of the booth, there is a chance that I get hit in the head by the baseball. So,
plus, you don't want to bust a nail. The nails look great.
No, I don't want to mess up a nail. Don't want to get the laptop hit. A lot of things.
Don't want to knock over the Starbucks. Can't have that either.
Yeah, not the coffee.
We need you
Anything
fueled.
but the coffee.
0-2 pitch fouled off down the third base side, deep into the stands, and it's time to re-rack at 0-2.
Sadly, I might use my laptop as a shield if it were to come in towards my coffee. I'm a bit of a creature of habit if you hadn't picked up on that yet.
Well, tonight there's only one coffee cup, so that's at least a little bit of an improvement. The 0-2 fouled back.
Full disclosure, I threw away the other one before you got into the booth today, so there were 2 in here at one point. I rotate. I have my tea earlier and then the coffee
judgment.
When the game starts.
No judgment.
It's game number 6 together.
I have my vices. Most of them come off the air, though. And the 0-2 slapped into left field, opposite field, as the Blue Jays had the shift on, playing well off the bag at third was Ernie Clement. But the Blue Jays, to their credit, jumped on that ball over in the corner, Joey Loperfido, and they nearly got Santander at second base. That was far closer than it probably should have been, and certainly closer than I thought it would be.
I'm still impressed that Santander is even able to hit this pitch because it was just that far off of the plate and it was diving down and away from his barrel, but he just pokes this straight down that left field line. And a couple of times since Loperfido has been brought over to the Toronto Blue Jays, he's made some really good relays, some really good throws in from the outfield, and this one was on the money to second base. Santander just barely got that right hand into second base before Horwitz was able to apply the tag.
And when he did, he actually rolled over onto his back as well and nearly came off the bag. And to his credit, while rolling, while tumbling, and onto his back, he kept that hand planted to the bag.
It was a bit of a swim maneuver to try to avoid the tag, but then the momentum started carrying him a little bit too far off of second base.
He's been watching the Olympics. The 1-0 pitch into Gunnar Henderson is no good, the splitter, and now it's 2-0. So after sitting down the first 2 batters of the inning, Gausman issues a walk to Urias, a home run to Cowser, a double to Santander, and now a 3-0 count to Gunnar Henderson. Blue Jays still leading 3-2, but it's hanging by a thread right now.
Just looks like Kevin Gausman's lost his timing a bit with the release of his splitter in particular. He's now thrown 3 splitters in a row to Henderson. All 3 of them have missed down, and that last one way down in the dirt.
The 3-0 pitch catches the outside edge. It's 3-1. Sinker good, clocked at 94. The 3-1 pitch fouled off by Henderson, and now the count is full.
Pretty good couple of pitches back-to-back to get back into this count. That fastball looked like Henderson was taken all the way in that 3-0 count, but then comes back with another splitter trying to get the feel for that pitch. That one well within the strike zone that Henderson takes a cut at.
Gausman threw 10 pitches in the first inning, 9 in the second inning, and now 24 in this third inning. This will be 25 coming right here on the 3-2. Fouled off. We'll do it again. Henderson battling here, trying to keep this inning alive for the Orioles. They've scored 2 to cut the Blue Jay lead to 3-2. Gausman looks out at second. Here's the pitch. And this one sent down the left field line, but it's going to make its way well into the stands. And again, Gausman will get set for another payoff pitch, 3-2.
I wonder if the control with the splitter is a little all over the place today, because he's throwing it quite a bit harder than his yearly average for that pitch. So far, he's averaging about 87 miles per hour with that pitch. Typically, it's down just below 86.
And he just lost him. Gausman way high and outside. Second walk of the inning. And now first and second with 2 away here in the third. And Pete Walker wants to come out and have a chat with Gausman.
And this partially could probably be to talk about something mechanically, maybe even pitch sequencing, but most of all, just trying to slow things down a bit for Kevin Gausman out there on the mound. You can feel things starting to spiral in the wrong direction. Oftentimes, you'll call timeout as a coach just to change that momentum back onto your pitcher's side, because right now he is really fighting it, trying to get a feel for every single one of his pitches.
Again, 19 pitches thrown through the first 2 innings, and now 27 and counting in this third inning alone. As Gausman now will deal with Ryan O'Hearn, the right fielder, batting from the left side. He flew out to center in his first at bat. And he's got a chance here to at least tie the game, if not more. 1 in scoring position for Baltimore out at second. That's Anthony Santander at first. Gunnar Henderson. 2 on, 2 out. Third inning. Blue Jays leading 3-2. Gausman again looks out at second. Now turns and fires. And the first pitch is a strike into O'Hearn. An 0-1 count.
There's that splitter, more at 86 miles per hour. Well located, low and away for O'Hearn. Not something that you want to swing at early in the count, but definitely a pitcher's pitch that you want to utilize to get ahead.
The 0-1 pitch sent out to second on the ground, scooped up nicely by Horowitz. Over to first to Vladdy, and that will do it. But Baltimore again gets 2. They've cut the Toronto lead to 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
These days at your local Legion, we're marching to...
Hey Insiders, thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Blue Jays matchup against the Baltimore Orioles. Really appreciate you guys being here and chatting it up. Let us know in the chat who you want to watch with these new Blue Jays players. Who's exciting you the most out of all these prospects that we just picked up at the trade deadline? Let us know in the chat who you're looking out for, and we'll see you guys back in the chat. Make sure you guys have hit that thumbs up button, that like button. Every single like that we get in here brings more and more Blue Jays fans into the chat and helps grow this amazing community. Back to the baseball. See you in the chat.
With affordable solutions every step of the way. Whether it's heating, cooling, water heating, or water purification, you get peace of mind knowing that you're backed by our very best. With 65 years of helping Ontarians, we'll always be here when you need us.
Enercare, experts at home.
With Canada's fastest and most reliable internet from Rogers, you can handle anything that happens this school year. Whether it's your kid and all their friends needing the Wi-Fi, or finding them playing video games instead of studying. Be ready for whatever the school year brings with Canada's fastest and most reliable internet from Rogers. Save up to $20 per month on Rogers Internet for back to school. Visit Rogers.com for details. We got you. Rogers.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss. Eric Swanson strikes out the side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. When home improvement projects are throwing you a curveball, talk to the folks at Timbermart before you begin your next job. They've got the material and know-how to make you have all your bases covered. Timbermark, Canada's building center. Toronto leading 3-2 as we get set to start this third inning. Spencer Horwitz steps in. The lefty on righty matchup right here. And the pitch from Kramer. No good. Ball one and a 1-0 count.
Kramer tries to throw another first pitch curveball that misses down and in the dirt. Horwitz struck out on that four-seam fastball in his last at-bat.
And now that pitch in for a strike. Horwitz didn't like that one. He thought it was a little bit low.
I thought that one was in the strike zone. Definitely not something that you want to swing at early in the count, and surprised by the back-to-back curveballs to start off this at-bat.
And now Spencer tries to rip one down the right field line, but sends it into the stands. You could hear the kind of crack of the bat there as he walks over to the dugout to get some fresh lumber.
Looked like a cutter that was working its way inside. Definitely off the plate. Horwitz got a pretty good piece of it, but gets jammed up enough to break that bat. Taking his time before he walks back into the batter's box. So far this season, Dean Kramer has had much better numbers against right-handed batters than he has left-handed batters so far this year.
So Horwitz down in the count 1-2. Blue Jays leading 3-2 here, bottom of the third. Kramer looks in at the sign from Rutschman. Here's the pitch, and it's sent back a little bit towards our general direction again. Down below us and to the left of Madison. They're coming for you, I'm telling you.
You keep speaking it into existence. I need to make sure that I got my head on a swivel over here.
And quickly back with the 1-2 pitch after that foul ball. That one no good on the splitter from Kramer. It's 2-2.
A couple of these misses from Kramer, too, are missing so far outside of the strike zone. Non-competitive pitches that are getting Spencer Horwitz back into this at-bat.
The 2-2 pitch, and Horwitz knew it right away. He got fooled by that one. Must have been expecting something else because that was pretty close to Main Street. And that's a rare miss for Spencer Horwitz.
Yeah, really surprised that he wasn't going after that fastball there. Clearly anticipating that he was going to come back with either a splitter or another one of the curveballs. We did see back-to-back curveballs to start off that at-bat to Horwitz, but a very uncharacteristic strikeout looking for Spencer.
Alejandro Kirk now for the second time in this ballgame. Had an RBI single back in the first inning. Part of the Blue Jays 3-2 lead. Kirk batting .255 now. Trying to get things going here in the bottom of the third. The 1-0 pitch, no good. It's now 2-0 to Kirk. Kramer just threw his 51st pitch as he looks in at the sign from Rutschman and comes with the 2-0. And that one caught the outside corner. Kirk now has something to say to Nate Tomlinson, the home plate umpire. Still ahead in the count, though, 2-1. And it's now 3-1 as that one just missed. So Kirk trying to get on here for Joey Loperfido batting next. And Kirk was trying to stay out of the way of that one. He kind of check swing at that one and tried to contort the body. It caught the handle of his bat, and it's a foul ball. So now the count is full.
That hesitant swing there is a product of the previous four pitches, all of them being located on the low and outside corner of the strike zone. So Alejandro Kirk kind of expecting that next pitch was going to be outside again, and instead he ran that four-seamer up and inside.
And now Kirk skies one down the right field line, and it's going to make its way into the stands. A long foul ball for Kirk as he stays alive in the at-bat at 3-2.
I'd imagine that they're going to continue to try to bounce back and forth between inside and outside to Alejandro Kirk. He came back with that cutter low and away. If you're going to throw it inside, you better miss off of the plate because of the way that Kirk's been swinging the bat. I'd see if I could try to get him to ground out on something away.
And again, fouled off, this one way high. And into the stands down the first base line, just to the right of the Baltimore dugout. about 10 rows deep. Kirk steps into the box and gets set for another 3-2 pitch with one out here in the bottom of the third inning. Toronto leading Baltimore 3-2. And that went high. Kirk gets the free pass. And we'll see if the Blue Jays can get something going here with one away in the bottom of the third.
Baltimore was able to capitalize after a 2-out walk in the top of the third inning. The Blue Jays are going to see what they can do here after that free pass given to Kirk. Another opportunity now for Joey Loperfido to come through for the Blue Jays. Talked about Kramer's numbers versus the righties and the lefties. Right-handed batters just batting .209 against him this season. Lefties batting .241.
Loperfido fouls off the first pitch down the first base line. Down on the count now, 0-1. Struck out in his first at-bat, looking for something better right here. And the 0-1 pitch way outside, it's 1-1. Swing and a miss on the 1-1 pitch, and now Loperfido down 1-2.
That's one of those swings as a batter where you wish you could take it back, because as soon as that ball left his hand, that was nowhere near the strike zone. A gift that you just gave back to Dean Kramer on that swing and miss outside.
Kramer has now thrown 60 pitches. He gave up 3 in the first, got into some trouble in the second, but got out of it. And now trying to have a bit of a cleaner inning here in the third as he just struck out Loperfido for the second time in this game. That's 2 strikeouts in this inning as he will try to end the Blue Jays right here with Ernie Clement coming up.
Both strikeouts for Loperfido in this ball game have come on the fastball that's more in the upper part of the zone. His barrel just getting underneath those pitches. But I do think that swing and miss on the fastball outside completely changed that entire at-bat, because Kramer had thrown a couple of non-competitive pitches, and all of a sudden you give him that momentum back within the at-bat to get back into it, and ends up striking him out.
And the 1-0 pitch to Clement in for a strike, now even in the count, 1-1. It's the third game of 3 against Baltimore, the rubber match. After the Jays and Orioles split the first 2, Toronto will host Oakland starting tomorrow for a 3-game weekend series. The 1-1 pitch is sent to right field. It's hooking toward the stands, and it's going to make it into those seats. And now Clement down 1-2. Ernie up to the minute, batting .270 on the season. As he digs back in and gets set for the 1-2 pitch. Kramer with the kick, the delivery, and it's outside down in the dirt, 2-2.
A few patient takes from Ernie Clement in this at-bat. Didn't swing at the first pitch, watched it go by for a ball. Even the second pitch, the cutter that was called for a strike. Looked very patient, almost looked like he was taking on that pitch no matter what. Watches another cutter go outside for ball 2.
And he skies this one out to first base. A couple of steps into foul territory, making the grab is Ryan Mountcastle to sit down Clement and the Blue Jays. That ends the third inning. Toronto still on top, though, 3-2 as we go to the fourth inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The biggest names in NASCAR talk are now with SiriusXM.
Hey, this is Denny Hamlin, host of Actions Detrimental, driver of the number 11 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, and co-owner of 2311 Racing. Join me and my co-host Jared Allen every Monday for a recap of each NASCAR race from the driver's seat. We'll break down how my race went and hopefully ending in victory lane.
Hear Actions Detrimental plus every incredible podcast from Dirty Mo Media right now on the SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel?
Are you ready for some football? Yeah, I'm ready for some football. Buffalo Bills' first preseason game of the year coming up in just a couple of days. August 10th, we'll be live right here on Toronto Sports Insider. Football fans, get ready. Baseball fans, get ready as well. And make sure you join us right here in the chat on Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you guys for making this amazing community what it is. We'll see you back in the chat. It's going to be a lot of fun cheering on the Buffalo Bills, Toronto's team. Go, Bills, go.
Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
Our goal is to win the Super Bowl. That's it for us.
Hear every stop of the 2024 training camp tour on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. Blue Jays leading 3-2 as we get set to start this fourth inning. As Adley Rutschman steps in. Rutschman flew it to center in his first at-bat back in the second inning. And the first pitch to Rutschman catches that outside edge. The fastball's good. 0-1 count. Rutschman's average sits at .263 with 17 homers. And the 0-1 pitch in for a strike. Quickly 0-2.
I was thinking heading into this top of the fourth inning, we're going to see how quickly Kevin Gausman can bounce back from the top of the third inning, where things started to get a bit out of control as far as his command, with mostly the splitter, a little bit with that four-seam fastball as well. But so far, 2 straight four-seam fastballs that he's been able to pump in there for strikes on the outer half.
0-2 pitch, chopped down to first base. Vladdy in for it, scoops it up, takes it himself, steps on the bag, records the out. There's one away.
Another rare ground ball that we've seen so far in today's ball game. Just the third ground ball out that's been recorded?
Yes, the third.
Jackson Holliday hit the ground ball in the third. Ryan O'Hearn hit a ground ball to end the third, and then now out number 1 to start off the fourth.
And this brings up Ryan Mountcastle, the righty-on-righty battle right here. Gausman looks in at the sign from Kirk. First pitch, no good, down low, 1-0. Mountcastle batting .267, lined out to second in his first at-bat. Gausman ready with the 1-0 pitch. And that one, no good. They check down to first. It's clean, 2-0. And now 3-0 is down in the dirt. The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for details. Always devilishly good. Give you a couple of scores in a moment here. The 3-0 pitch from Gausman in for a strike. It's now 3-1. The most important game in that out-of-town scoreboard is the Angels leading the Yankees 2-1, bottom of the fourth. So certainly the Orioles will be keeping an eye on that one. We still have, of course, 7 weeks to play in the season, but it's quite the battle atop the AL East. As Mountcastle swings at the 3-1 pitch, misses. It's now 3-2.
Jazz Chisholm Jr. hitting his first home run as a Yankee in that Angels game today. Should be a pretty good battle between the Orioles and the Yankees, though, like you mentioned, the rest of the way on out in this season because they are so close.
And the walk is issued to Mountcastle with 1 away here in the fourth inning. Just to double check, because I know I think I was in lockstep with you for a second, but I believe that might be the first home run at home for Jazz Chisholm, correct?
Yes, thank you.
Because he did have a couple when he just burst onto the scene against Philly.
Yes, you're correct, yes. Yeah, he was going on a rampage up at the plate against the Phillies.
So now the Blue Jays leading 3-2. They got to deal with a man on, and squaring to bunt is Jackson Holliday. And he actually tried to attempt to lay one down. sends it foul toward the Blue Jay dugout. I'm a little surprised by that one, especially with one away.
I don't know if they're just trying to take advantage of the fact that the infield is shifted over to the right side. So Ernie Clement playing practically in the shortstop position, maybe trying to push that bunt down that third baseline.
And now Gausman comes back high and inside on Holiday. It's 1-1. Jackson Holiday in his first at bat grounded out to first base. One swing of the bat could give Baltimore the lead right here. And here's the pitch and a quick throw down to first. Diving back into the bag is Mountcastle. And Holiday ahead now in the count, 2-1.
Another at bat where Kevin Gausman is falling behind early to Ryan Mountcastle. He actually threw back-to-back sliders that he was missing. He'll throw that pitch more to righties than he will lefties, but still surprised that he went with those sliders to Mountcastle.
And a swing and a miss from Holiday evens the count now at 2-2.
Given just some of the command struggles that we've seen from Gausman the past 2 innings, you'd think you'd really rely heavily, of course, on that four-seam fastball and that splitter that he just threw for another strike.
And Holiday just sat down. A great response from Kevin Gausman. His first strikeout of the game. Sits down the youngster, and there's 2 away.
Great last-minute movement, too, on that splitter. He goes back-to-back with these splitters, well located low and outside. That last-minute break diving down and away from the barrel of Jackson Holiday. He was not picking that pitch up out of the hand, so he was well out in front on that swing and miss.
Cedric Mullins, first pitch swinging, sends one on a ride to center field, but tracking it down on his horse, Dalton Varsho. The speedster makes it look easy, and that will do it for the Orioles. Toronto still leads 3-2 heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. A solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Sprinting back, Varsho curling at the track. He leaps, and he made the catch!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 4th inning, the Blue Jays still leading 3-2 as Addison Barger will lead things off for the Jays. Toronto with this 1-run lead as Dean Kramer, still in the ballgame, has thrown 66 pitches, and he has pretty much settled down since getting into trouble to start this game in that first inning. In fact, last inning had a couple of strikeouts and trying to carry some momentum now here to this 4th inning. He's ahead in the count to Barger, 0-1. And now 0-2. A big hole, sorry, Madison, over at third base for Barger.
I was just the very first pitch of this at bat, Barger looked to try to lay down a bunt because the left side of the field is so wide open, but Dean Kramer came back with one of those get-me-over curveballs for strike one in this at-bat.
And now 1-2 to Barger as that pitch was down low, almost in the dirt. Barger over the last 8 games has 10 runs batted in and 6 extra base hits. Flew out to third in his first at-bat. Swing and a miss. He just struck out in his second.
Big swing and miss at that splitter, which has become a very important pitch for Dean Kramer. Just started utilizing that pitch this season and getting some movement and some late action that's going to dive away from those left-handed batters. It's paired really nicely with that fastball that he's able to locate.
It brings up Leo Jimenez, the number 9 hitter for the Blue Jays, walked in his first at-bat. And the first pitch to Leo, in for a strike. Got him with the curveball. 0-1 count.
Another first pitch curveball. You wonder if somebody's going to go up there and just sit on that pitch because he's piping them pretty much straight down the middle.
Second pitch outside, 1-1.
Maybe a low percentage play to go up there and hunt the curveball early, but if he's going to continue to do it, somebody's got to take it away at some point.
We got to wait about 8 batters for Ernie Clement. Swing and a miss on the 1-1. It's 1-2.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say that Ernie would be the one that would go up there and swing at the first pitch curveball.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kramer. And now 4 strikeouts over the last 2 innings. 5 for the game. And the top of the order will come for the Blue Jays, but there's 2 away.
The pace of the game has really picked up, too, for Dean Kramer, and it seems like the best way. He seems to feed off of not taking much time in between pitches. That's another well-located splitter down in the zone to Jimenez.
Springer, swing and a miss. Kramer in a groove right now, trying to make quick work of this 4th inning. We are in the Timber Mart broadcast booth with the Blue Jays leading 3-2. They were up 3-0. Baltimore got back 2, but Toronto still on top. Swing and a miss. Springer down 0-2.
Back-to-back really big swings by Springer, too. He actually fell over in front of home plate after that swing and miss. First pitch was a cutter. That last one, that splitter.
And now Springer sends one on a ride to center field, but plenty of room for Cedric Mullins to get underneath it, make the grab, and that will do it for the Blue Jays as they go down 1-2-3 and on to the 5th inning. Toronto leading 3-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is John Paul Morosi. Coming up on the next episode of The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Alan Trammell.
I felt like a little kid, and when you go into the Hall of Fame, there's nothing wrong with that. The respect that I have for my peers is something that I don't want to change.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Cookout 400 from Richmond Raceway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Yeah. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Welcome back, Eric Smith and Madison Shipman with you, getting set to start this 5th inning. Kevin Gausman still on the mound. And it's Ramon Urias, the number 9 hitter for the Orioles, stepping in. The righty-righty matchup. First pitch inside, 1-0 count to Urias. Blue Jays leading 3-2. Here's the pitch from Gausman, and that's good for a strike. Got him with the slider, 1-1.
Another one of those sliders. We've seen a couple of them in today's ball game, but Alejandro Kirk did a really good job of framing up that pitch. I thought it was going to miss in the bottom part of the zone, but he brought it back up and got it called for a strike.
And now 2-1 as that third pitch, the splitter, down in the dirt. Gausman has now thrown 66 pitches. Arias asks for time as he digs in and tries to get himself set in the box. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Inside, 3-1. Fifth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. 3-2 as Gausman came back with a nice fastball, clocked at 93. And again, the count is full.
As far as he missed with the fastball prior to that one, it's almost like he felt he just had to put something down the middle in the strike zone. He does exactly that.
And the 3-2. Hot shot out to second, scooped up by Horwitz, over to first to Vladdy. And there's one away.
Came back with another fastball, 3 in a row to end that at bat to Ramon Arias. Ground ball out over to the right side. It's been an interesting day so far for Gausman because at times he looks very efficient. He's got great velocity, great movement on his pitches, and then even within the same at-bats sometimes, the pitches are missing so far out of the strike zone. Even that last at-bat there, one of those fastballs missed by at least a foot and a half.
Top of the order for Colton Cowser, the 2-run home run in his last at-bat. Sent it into the bullpen out in left field, the Blue Jay bullpen. And I believe that was Anthony Santander down in the on-deck circle that just hit our field side microphone. That was that loud crash and clang you heard in the background. As Cowser sends it into left field, very shallow, and charging in to call off everybody and make the grab is Joey Loperfido. There's 2 away.
Really like that communication that we just saw from Loperfido because that fly ball hung up in the air for an extremely long time. So long that Ernie Clement and Leo Jimenez were both going back on those fly balls. And rule of thumb is, as an outfielder, if you have the opportunity to make those catches, you go ahead and call off your infielders because you're going to have the best view at those fly balls.
This brings up Anthony Santander with nobody on and 2 away, and the first pitch is a little bit too high. 1-0 count. On that out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill, it's still 2-1 Angels leading the Yankees in the top of the 5th inning. Gausman back with another one that just missed. It's now 2-0. San Francisco beat the Nationals 9-5 in 10 innings. San Diego beating Pittsburgh 7-6 earlier today as well. Santander ahead in the count 2-0. And now he gets underneath one sky high. Is it going to stay in play? I believe it will. Over toward that on-deck circle, calling off Kirk to make the grab is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And the Orioles go down 1-2-3. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Blue Jays leading Blue Jays baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey everybody, it's Conan O'Brien, and guess what? I've got my own channel, Conan O'Brien Radio, here on SiriusXM. Tune in to channel 104 for exclusive interviews with your favorite celebrities, hilarious moments from all my TV shows, showcasing some of the most absurd decades on television, and episodes from Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast and Andy Richter's weekly call-in show. Don't miss out. Conan O'Brien Radio, channel 104, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
If you love golf, then you should never turn off SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. Our hosts have the best takes.
Tiger's impact on the game of golf, aside from how good he was at it, was something that I don't think we'll ever see again.
Talk to the biggest guests.
Scotty, you've had a year to celebrate.
This year, I've just seen a lot of good results.
And can even help you with your own game.
Take the club and at address, open it up.
It's all golf, all the time. On SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
The NFL Radio Training Camp Tour is here.
The process with all our players is to come out and improve and get better each day.
Nobody gets you ready for the 2024 season like we do.
For the veteran players, they want to see the guy earn the job.
Don't miss analysis from our experts and interviews with head coaches, executives, and players.
We embrace this portion of our journey. We're just here to work and get better.
Hear coverage of the National Football League all year long on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Hey everyone, it's Justin Turbin at your 24/7 home for hoops all year long is Sirius XM NBA Radio Channel 86 and the Sirius XM app. Just search NBA Radio.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back at Rogers Center, Madison Shipman and Eric Smith with you in the Timber Mart broadcast booth as we get set to start the bottom of the fifth inning with the Blue Jays leading the Orioles 3-2. Dalton Varsho to start off this inning, and Kramer still on the mound for Baltimore. Dean Kramer in with the strike to Varsho. 0-1.
He's still throwing those first pitch curveballs. I am just waiting for somebody to go up there and sit on that pitch. The beauty of some of those breaking balls, too, if you do decide to go up there and swing at it, you don't have to be as particular about where it's located in the strike zone just because it's coming in right around 72, 73 miles per hour.
And now the 1-1 pitch, no good. Missed with the splitter. It's 2-1. Back with a cutter, good for a strike. And it's 2-2. Might have actually called that one a curve. Either way, it's a 2-2 count. And now quickly 3-2. Seems like he's picking up the pace a little bit here in this fifth inning.
Yeah, he's definitely not letting that pitch clock get down very far at all. Releasing the pitch at about 6-7 seconds left on the clock.
And Varsho on. A leadoff walk issued and a chance for Toronto to do some damage here in this fifth inning.
Now, if I'm Dean Kramer, as much as I've been throwing those first pitch curveballs, I probably would not throw one here to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. because besides Ernie Clement, Vladdy was the other person that came to mind as far as somebody that would go up there and try to hunt one of those breaking balls early in the count.
And the first pitch to Vladdy, no good. Missed with the fastball. 1-0 count. Guerrero 1 for 2 in the ballgame. Varsho at first, who dives back into the bag as Kramer throws over, trying to keep Varsho honest. The pitch into Guerrero. Got underneath it, sent it foul high down the first base side toward the right side of that Orioles dugout. The count sits at 1-1.
Tried to work back up and inside with that fastball, clearly staying away from those breaking balls early. Vladdy took the first one for a ball. That one was marginal, might have been called for a strike. But by the way that he found that ball off to the right side, maybe he was looking for something a little bit slower.
And now stepping off the rubber for a moment is Kramer as he gets set to reset against Vladdy. Here's the pitch. And that one down low in the dirt. Vladdy thought about it but held off. And now ahead in the count, 2-1.
He gave the extra footwork too after that take. It was the hop and turn. A little bit of squat, too, at the end. Just the confidence that he has when he's up at the plate right now. It shows even on his takes.
And now Guerrero sends one on a ride out towards right field. It's back at the wall. It's over and gone. Into the Baltimore bullpen. Vladimir Guerrero with a 2-run home run to extend the lead for the Blue Jays. As Vladdy sends one on a ride. 376 feet.
This was another four-seam fastball right down the middle, and Vladdy does not miss. He knows after Dean Kramer misses with that splitter down in the dirt, he's going to try his best to get back into this count. And the pitch that he's been most efficient with has been that four-seam fastball. He tries to get that one by Vladdy. He doesn't get it inside enough, and Vladdy makes him pay for that two-run shot out to right field.
His 23rd home run of the season. Guerrero continues to swing such a hot stick. He's got the home run jacket on right now, and he's talking business inside the Blue Jay dugout. Sending one out to first base Spencer Horwitz, and the backhanded stab made out at first by Mountcastle, who flips it over to Kramer covering, and there's one away.
Coming into this ballgame, when I saw the starting lineup, I was a little bit surprised that we didn't see Spencer Horwitz in the 2 spot, and instead we saw Dalton Varsho in that 2 spot. But Dalton Varsho has had really solid at-bats, and your job in that 2 spot with the way that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been swinging the bat is get on base. Set the table so that when he hits the ball hard, there is somebody on the base paths. And so far in today's ballgame, Dalton Varsho has done that twice now with 2 walks.
Just one down here in the 5th inning with the Blue Jays leading 5-2 after that 2-run homer for Vladdy. And to your point about Varsho, he has reached each time with 2 walks and a fielder's choice. Kirk 1 for 1 in the ball game.
And diving a little bit deeper too into the numbers and looking at where Dalton Varsho could succeed in that 2 spot, I do feel like throughout this season he's done a pretty good job against off-speed pitches from right-handed pitchers. And so far this year he's batting .230 with 12 extra base hits against off-speed pitches from righties.
And the 0-2 pitch outside, now 1-2 to Alejandro Kirk. Batting .255 with a single, a walk, and a run batted in this ballgame. 33 runs batted in on the season. Nobody on base for him right now after that Vladdy home run. Fouls this one off. It's 1-2. The injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Preyra Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Preyra Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Preyra will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. And the pitch outside, it's 2-2. As we look at the injury report, it's actually a roster report again, as Genesis Cabrera has been placed on the paternity list, and in a corresponding move, Tommy Nance, who was actually acquired from the Padres for cash considerations yesterday, has been selected to the roster and is active for the ball game tonight.
Pretty big presence too. He's 6 feet 5 inches tall.
He's a big dude. 3-2 pitch to Kirk, and he has to contort out of the way. That one came inside, and the walk, the free pass to Kirk, will keep this inning going with just 1 away, and Joey Loperfido set to step in, and we're going to have a mound visit from Brandon Hyde, and I think we're going to see a pitching change. Yes, we will. So with that, we will go back to baseball control and our host, Nick Blackmore.
Eric and Madison, thank you very much for that. Before we get to the out-of-town scoreboard, just a quick reminder. Ben and Barker will have Jay's talk following the final out. Ben Ennis will toss out the numbers for you to dial once this game is in the books. Let's get to that out-of-town scoreboard. Again, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, always devilishly good. Let's start with the Chicago White Sox. You remember they tied an American League record this month with a 21-game losing streak. Today, they fired their manager, Pedro Grifol, and named Grady Sizemore the interim manager. Toronto fans, we've dealt with a lot of misfortune this year, but we can say this much. White Sox fans, we're not like them. It's a light night in the majors, just 6 games, 4 on the go right now. The AL East is making the dog days of baseball fun. The Yankees are playing in a rubber match against the Angels this evening. Currently, right now, they are in the 5th inning, and it is 4-1 for the Angels. So good news for Baltimore fans. Tampa, 10 games back. They are in St. Louis this evening. They are currently in the 4th inning with St. Louis up 4-2. Boston is idle this evening. They are 6 games back. Other games on the go include the Reds at Miami. It is currently in the bottom of the 8th inning, and it is 3-3. They are all tied up. The Tigers are in Toronto West, a.k.a. Seattle. Their first pitch is at 9:40 p.m., and the Phillies are in Arizona. They also start at 9:40 as well. For all these scores and updates and whatever you need, go over to sportsnet.ca for all that you desire. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Now back to the action at Rogers Center. Here's Eric Smith and Madison Shipman.
All right, thanks very much, Nick. As Keegan Aiken comes into the ball game for the Orioles, the lefty will try and slow things down here as Toronto has already scored 2 in the inning. And by the way, guess who's in attendance tonight? Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
I'd imagine that he's pretty happy with that home run that Vladdy hit out to right field. I don't know about you, but every time I think of Vladimir Guerrero Sr., I think of all the baseballs that he managed to hit out of the park that were nowhere near the strike zone. I believe he even got a base hit on one that bounced on his way to him.
And the thing I think most about, too, as Joey Loperfido sends one out to second, and a wide throw that actually pulls Gunnar Henderson off the bag from Jackson Holiday, allows Loperfido to get the first. Alejandro Kirk sliding, came up short about 3 feet of the bag on his slide. Didn't even need to because of the fact that it was an errant throw from Holiday. He has not played well at second base tonight.
I'm really surprised that he didn't continue to move his feet a little bit more towards second base. The way that he fielded that ball, he shifted his feet to face second, but it actually ended up being his chest that was facing second, so that's what caused that throw to be a bit errant over to second base, which what looked like off of the bat, pretty much a tailor-made double play.
Just to finish my point on Vladdy Sr., I think of the violent swing and no batting gloves.
That's a great point.
And sending one on a ride to center, but not deep enough, is Ernie Clement, as underneath it to make the grab is Cedric Mullins, who turns and fires that baseball into the center field stands, giving some fan here a souvenir. But the Blue Jays score 2 in the inning and head to the 6th with a 5-2 lead. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hey, Jays fans, ready to hit a home run with your next roofing project? Step up to the plate with GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, the official roofing shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Just like our Jays, GAF Timberline HDZ shingles deliver top performance with unmatched durability and protection. So, when it's time to cover your bases, choose the winning team. Visit your local Home Depot or shop online at homedepot.ca for all your roofing shingles and accessories. GAF. We protect what matters most.
We finally made it!
Tuesdays on City TV.
It's time for Celebrity Family Feud!
Survey says... Let's go! Get ready for a wild summer.
What you laughing at?
These celebrity teams are going to be battling it out.
As your favorite celebrities battle for bragging rights.
I'm panicking!
Name something that might be curvy.
Me. Thank you.
Celebrity Family Feud. All new Tuesdays 7/6 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down to second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Eric Smith and Madison Shipman with you in the Timber Mart broadcast booth as we get set to start this 6th inning. The Blue Jays now leading 5-2 as Gunnar Henderson steps in against Kevin Gausman. First pitch in for a strike. Caught that outside edge. 0-1 count. And the second pitch inside, down a little bit low, 1-1.
Looked like they were trying to locate that splitter in the same spot that he threw for strike one of this at-bat to Gunnar Henderson, but he just yanks that one low and inside. Alejandro Kirk had to reach across his body to stop that one.
Here's the 1-1. It's sent to center field. Given a decent ride, it's actually making it toward the gap, and then over to make the grab instead of Varsho is Joey Loperfido. He's got some speed as well. Records the out. There's one away.
Varsho was still there just in case he needed to run all the way over into left field practically to make that catch, but good communication again from Joey Loperfido, because he knows that with the range that Dalton Varsho has, he's absolutely going to continue to run into that left center gap, but very vocal out in left field so far today. Another nice catch and another out for Kevin Gausman.
One down here in the 6th inning. And the first pitch to Ryan O'Hearn sent foul down the third base side deep into the stands. 0-1 count to the lefty, O'Hearn. Gausman approaching 80 pitches with a 5-2 lead in this 6th inning. Gausman looks in at the sign. Leg kick, delivery. High outside. It's 1-1. 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins is a big fan of small biz. That's why they awarded another $3 million to small business owners across the country. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz this year at goodsparkgrants.ca. This one sent towards second, and it's going to make its way into right center. It's a base hit for O'Hearn as Horowitz couldn't get there. A one-out hit for the Orioles here in the 6th.
The whole infield was shaded for on the pole side of the field, so the right side of the field, and because of that, he was able to drive that ball on the line, back up the middle, a four-seam fastball up and away for Ryan O'Hearn for that one-out single.
It brings up Adley Rutschman, the switch hitter, batting from the left side against the righty Gausman. Again, 7 batters from the left side against the righty Gausman in this lineup. He swings and sends one into shallow left. Charging in to make the grab yet again is Joey Loperfido, and there are 2 away.
I believe it was back in the first or the second inning I had commented on the fact that Addison Barger in right field and Dalton Varsho were probably going to get a lot of work today with all the lefties, but it's been Joey Loperfido in left field that's had to make a long run for a couple of catches. Again, vocal again, calling off the infielders just to make sure that he was the one to make the catch on that shallow fly ball.
And Leo Jimenez went for a long run on that one. He was deep out in left field before Loperfido snagged that one. 1 on, 2 down for Baltimore, and slapping at the first pitch is Ryan Mountcastle, sends it foul up and over the Baltimore dugout, down in the count 0-1. On that out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill. The Angels now lead the Yankees 8-1 in the 5th inning. What is going on with New York? Mountcastle again down 0-1, and now Gausman steps off the mound and fakes a throw over to first. O'Hearn scrambles back to the bag, and Kevin gets set to step on the rubber and reset.
The Yankees this year, it seems like they've had quite a streaky year. They either get really, really hot as a team when that offense is firing on all cylinders, or they hit some pretty significant lows.
And Mountcastle just got underneath this one sky high, and charging in from first base to make the grab close to home plate, maybe about 20 feet from the plate, is Vladdy, and that will do it for the Orioles. Toronto still leading 5-2 going to the bottom of the 6th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be the most informed player in your fantasy football league by listening to the experts on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I want to thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
Hear player rankings, position breakdowns, and expert drafts.
There is no bigger value today than Dak Prescott.
Going deep down the right side, got a man, caught, touchdown Cowboys!
The road to a fantasy football championship begins with Fantasy Sports Radio. Channel 87 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
What's up, insiders? It's TSI Mike. I'm sorry I don't have my TSI stuff on here, but I got the Blue Jays stuff on. Pull your lives together in the jack. This is why you don't smoke, children. I don't smoke anymore. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Pull your lives together. Big Jam Roll. Jesus, Pablo, Shuttleworth. Pull your life together, young man. And no, I don't know who you are. Anyways, cheers, everybody. Back to the baseball. Hit that like button. We're at 41. Let's get to 50. Come on. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Go, Jays, go.
Work.
Back at Rogers Center, getting set to start the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Blue Jays leading 5-2. And it's at Addison Barger at the plate. First pitch in for a strike to Barger on that four-seam fastball from Aiken. The Baltimore lefty came into this game in place of Dean Kramer. As Aiken comes back with the next pitch, no good. Missed with the slider. It's 1-1.
Primarily just a 3-pitch mix for Aiken. He's going to throw that four-seam fastball, the slider, and occasionally the changeup.
And we saw the slider right there. Swinging strike against Barger. Now he's down in the count 1-2. Barger 0 for 2 in the ball game. Here's the pitch. And it caught the outside edge as Barger strikes out for the second straight time. One away here in the 6th.
The best pitch for Barger to hit in that entire at-bat was the very first pitch that he saw. It was a fastball that was pretty much down the middle, maybe a little bit in the lower half of the zone, but that was the one that he wanted to go after. Even looked like he made a bit of a facial expression knowing that he had just missed his pitch. And that was a very well-located fastball right on that low and outside corner for strike 3.
Leo Jimenez swings at the first pitch, sends it foul right toward the Blue Jay dugout. And quickly down 0-1. Blue Jays leading 5-2 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. We are about an hour and 40 minutes into this ball game. The rubber match between the Orioles and Jays. Second pitch inside, way inside. It's 1-1. And now 1-2. That pitch came inside. Jimenez didn't like it. It was close. Fastball. Called a strike by Nate Tomlinson, the home plate umpire, and now Aiken ahead, 1-2.
Yeah, definitely something that you don't want to swing at when you're down in the count, or even in the count, excuse me. That'll bring it back to even at 2-2. But it looks like they're trying to work on the inside part of the plate to Jimenez to make sure that he's not able to get his hands extended on any one of these pitches.
He does stand pretty close to the plate. And he turns on this one and sends it fair down the third base line. He is speeding to first and taking the turn, and it will be a stand-up double for Leo Jimenez. His 4th double in 2 nights after 3 last night and another one right here.
He is seeing the baseball extremely well right now. And we had just mentioned that they're trying to stay inside, make sure that he's getting jammed up, but they decide to throw him this changeup. So the changeup from the lefty is going to break away from his barrel, and he was a little out in front on the swing, but it works out perfectly for him because he's able to drive that one hard out into left field and continue the hot streak that he's been on so far in this series.
5-2 Toronto leading here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And now a runner in scoring position for the top of the order. George Springer takes the first pitch. No good. It was a ball. The fastball misses. 1-0 count. Toronto 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. It hasn't really bit them as they are leading 5-2. I guess 2 for 7 is not terrible, but I'd rather see 3 or 4 for 7. He's ahead in the count.
Let's be real. You want to see 7 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
If I want to get greedy.
Just set the standard at just about 1,000.
Why not?
Why not? Just do it. If only it were that easy, right?
It's about the only thing in life, I think, where you could be 3 for 10 and be considered a Hall of Famer. Anybody else? Your kids come home with a 30%?
Oh, yeah. I am not going to be happy if I see that.
Exactly. The 3-0 pitch to Springer. He thought it was a ball, and he might be right, as he turns his back on Nate Tomlinson and has a few words to mutter. He wants to be at first base right now, but he digs back in the box.
Not much you can do about that call. Definitely looked like it was a ball. Not something that you want to take your bat off of your shoulder at in a 3-0 count.
Looks like John Schneider just took an extra step up the steps of the dugout as well. I don't know if that's a frustration step. He's getting a little closer to saying something.
I was going to say, maybe he's just getting a little bit closer towards the opening of that dugout so that when he does make his comments, the home plate umpire can hear his opinions.
And now Springer swings and gets a piece of that 3-1 pitch. Count is full. Fouls this one off again. We'll do it at 3-2 again in mere moments. Being at the ballpark this summer is now even easier. Create your own bundle of 3 action-packed Blue Jays games and save up to 20% on tickets. For more information, bluejays.com/bundles. Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Springer. And it's in for a strike as he got caught. A nasty-looking slider right there. 2 away.
You can still hear him yelling. He is really frustrated as he's walking back into that dugout. He had seen 6 straight 4-seam fastballs in that at-bat. And then Aiken busts out the slider up and away and just completely freezes George Springer. Springer was clearly anticipating he was going to see another fastball there and just froze up on the slider.
And Dalton Varsho, first pitch swinging, gives one a ride toward left field, down the line, makes its way into the stands. And now down 0-1.
Varsho's first look at Aiken here in this inning. Has had a couple of quality at-bats, scored a couple of runs so far in today's ball game.
Jimenez out at second as Varsho takes the 0-1 pitch high. It's 1-1.
I'd imagine they really liked that matchup of Varsho going up against Dean Kramer with the splitters that he's been using more often and the numbers that Dalton Varsho has shown so far this year against those righty off-speed pitches.
Swing and a miss at the 1-1. He's now down in the count, 1-2.
And now you got to completely flip your game plan with Aiken on the mound. I'd imagine that Aiken's going to continue to pump in those 4-seam fastballs in the upper part of that strike zone because that's been an area that Dalton Varsho has struggled with at times this season.
And he just hit a hard shot to first, and it's off the glove of Mountcastle. Coming around from second to score is Leo Jimenez, and Varsho is at first to keep this inning going.
The book is out on everybody in the league, and Dalton Varsho is very much aware of the fact that pitchers like to attack him in the upper part of the zone with the fastball, so why not utilize that information to your advantage? And he just hacks at this pitch right up at the top of the zone. Almost looked like he chopped straight down at that baseball, but he hit it hard off of his bat. Ricochets off of Mountcastle, and another run comes in for the Blue Jays.
So Toronto has taken a 6-2 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and another pitching change for the Orioles will allow us to go back to baseball control and our host, Nick Blackmore.
Eric and Madison, thank you very much. Again, before we get to the out-of-town scoreboard, just a quick reminder, Ben and Barker will have Jays talk following the final out. Ben Ennis will toss out the numbers for you to dial once this game is in the books. Let's get to that out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. The Cincinnati Reds and Marlins are going to extras. It's 3-3. They're in the top of the 10th. The Angels put up a 6th spot in the 5th inning. They are now up 8-1 on the Yankees, so I can hear Baltimore fans right now. Let's go Angels. The Rays and the Cardinals it's 4-2 for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 5th inning. Some games from earlier today. The Giants defeated the Nationals 9-5 in 10 innings. The Brewers put up 16 runs on the Braves. Braves scored 7. It was a 20-hit barrage from the Brew Crew. They swept ATL in ATL. The Padres, 7 runs. The Pirates, 6. Another series sweep for the Padres in that one. And the Metropolitans, they beat the Rockies 9-1. Pete Alonso went twice deep in that thin air. Canada has 21 medals now in Paris. Maud Sharon grabbed the silver in the weightlifting category, basically lifting me at 106 kilograms. And Winnipeg's Skylar Park won bronze in Taekwondo. First medal in that in 16 years for the Canadians. Catch up on everything at sportsnet.ca for all your baseball, Olympic, tennis, NFL coverage you desire. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Now back to the action at Rogers Center. Here's Eric Smith and Madison Shipman.
All right, thanks very much, Nick. Brian Baker coming into the ballgame now for Baltimore, the right-hander. 4.58 ERA for the Orioles, as he will try and get the Orioles out of this inning with 2 down. The Blue Jays just scoring a run moments ago. Dalton Varsho dives back into the bag as Baker throws over to try and keep Varsho honest, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stepping up to the plate.
These Oriole pitchers have been very aware of Dalton Varsho's presence on the base path. So far, 10 stolen bases for Varsho on the season.
Vladdy 2 for 3 on the night, and the first pitch too high. Clocked at 97, 1-0.
Going to see that mix of that four-seam fastball along with a slider and a changeup. Has the occasional curveball every once in a while, but pretty much going to see a steady diet four-seamer and slider.
And Guerrero sends one down the right field line. It's hooking towards the stands, and it is about 15 rows deep. Count stands now at 1-1.
It's a tough spot to be in, of course, when you come into the ball game, and then on top of that, you have to face Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and you would think with the velocity, maybe you want to stay outside with both the fastball and the slider, but Vladdy's already gone yard the opposite direction today. But there's also a part of me that says don't mess around with the inside part of the plate either.
And the next pitch, the 1-1 into Vladdy. Caught that outside edge. It's 1-2. You know what I love about, well, I mean, you can see this in pretty much any ballpark or arena, basketball, hockey, or otherwise. But that foul ball we just saw up on the Jumbotron, 3 fans scrambling for that ball, wearing Troy Gloss, Vernon Wells, and Juan Guzman jerseys. As Vladdy sends one on a ride to right field, jumping up against the wall and missing it is Ryan O'Hearn. Vladdy's going to turn the corner and get to third. Man, he had the jets on. It's a stand-up triple for Vladdy. Varsho scores from first, and the Blue Jays have taken a 7-2 lead.
You could even tell the pitch that was a called strike before. He was nodding his head. The confidence that he has in the batter's box. They try to stay away again. This fastball just a bit elevated right at the top of the zone, and he drives that one opposite field all the way out to the wall in right. And Ryan O'Hearn,
he's going to be all over the highlights.
And he did not time up that jump as well as I think he thought he was going to. But either way, bounces off of that wall, gives Vladdy enough room to make it all the way over to third base. And Vladimir Guerrero Sr. clapping up in the stands after a couple of hits that he's been able to watch today.
I hate to laugh, but I'm sorry, I'm laughing. And I can laugh because he's not hurt. O'Hearn jumped and then came down and then crashed into the wall. Like, he completely botched and mistimed that jump, which is hard, no doubt.
No, it absolutely
Very
is.
hard.
And there's that element of timing and even the first step that goes into it, too, knowing where you're at in right field, how many steps you are away from the fence. But I think it goes back to our point that we've been driving home about Dalton Varsho and just how he's able to make those catches look so easy. It's not easy. Clearly, like we just saw from Ryan O'Hearn's attempt on that fly ball out to right field.
Oh, and in real time, it looks like an extremely difficult play, which it is. I'm just saying it looks funnier in slow-mo when you see how badly he mistimed it and how badly he thus botched the play, allowing that triple for Vladdy.
Definitely not easy. I feel like you're going to be over there watching that replay a couple of times.
I think it's going to turn into a meme or something pretty darn quick. Not by me. I don't know how to make them. The 2-2 pitch is a swing and a miss from Horwitz, and he sits down as Spencer's had a bit of a rough go tonight. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but Vladdy has been hot as Guerrero is now just a single away from the cycle as the Blue Jays lead 7-2 heading to the 7th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep. Because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior J's. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom. Visit.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Blue Jays against the Orioles matchup. Please make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Have you become an insider yet? It's all it takes is to click that subscribe button to become one of us, an insider, a Toronto sports insider. Thanks for hanging out with us. Please make sure you're subscribed and turn that bell on so you don't miss any of our awesome Toronto sports content. Whether we're live for the games, because that's what we do. Every single game is live, to give all of us a place to hang out together and chat it up during Toronto sports. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Cheers, everybody.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back. Eric Smith and Madison Shipman with you as we start this seventh inning. Kevin Gausman with the first pitch into Jackson Holliday. It's no good. And a 1-0 count to Holliday. That one down in the dirt. Gausman gets the sign, the kick, and the delivery. Holliday sends it out to second. And a nice stab there from Horwitz. Throws over to first. Vladdy had to stretch a little bit for that one, but he secures it to get the out. There's one away.
The momentum on that ground ball continued to carry Spencer Horwitz into that 3-4 hole over towards that right field line. And because of that, the throw was a bit offline. But Vladdy was able to reach to his right, snag it for out number one.
It brings up Cedric Mullins, the left-handed hitting center fielder for the Orioles. 0 for 2 in the ball game. Baltimore trailing Toronto 7-2. And Mullins slaps at the 1-0. It's into shallow left field. And ranging back for this one is the shortstop, Leo Jimenez, to make the grab. 2 away.
I know we were all waiting to see if Joey Loperfido was going to call off Leo Jimenez again on one of those fly balls, but he had to run a little bit too far for that one, and Jimenez was camped right underneath that fly ball.
So 2 down here in the top of the 7th inning. Ramon Urias comes up now for Baltimore. Kevin Gausman has thrown 87 pitches, 88 right there, fouled off by Urias. Down in the count, 0-1.
I wouldn't say it's been Kevin Gausman's sharpest day out there on the mound, just given that he's issued 3 walks so far today, but he has been very, very solid against a tough lineup, stacked with left-handed batters, lefties that like to hit the long ball. Just the biggest mistake was to Colton Cowser on that 2-run home run after the walk to Ramon Urias. Other than that, he's been very efficient at getting these batters out, even when they're trying to get deep into the counts.
And Urias gets underneath one on the 1-1 pitch, skies it out into right field. Camping underneath it to make the grab is Addison Barger. And a fairly quick inning for Baltimore as they go down 1-2-3. On to the bottom of the 7th we go with Toronto leading 7-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Witches, wizards, and muggles come down to the core as Roger Center transforms into Hogwarts. Harry Potter-themed entertainment and activities around the ballpark. Magic moments create core memories. So fly down to Rogers Center on Friday, August 9th, and get one of 4 Blue Jays Harry Potter Hogwarts House Raglan shirts. Harry Potter Night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. I am by your side. Got a heart so big. On this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Out of here! Out of here! Davis Snyder wins it!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back at Rogers Center, Eric Smith and Madison Shipman with you from the Timbermart broadcast booth. Bottom of the 7th, Blue Jays leading 7-2. And Alejandro Kirk leads things off for Toronto. Kirk 1 for 1 in the ballgame with a couple of walks. His 4th at bat, first pitch, no good. The slider coming in from Brian Baker. A 1-0 count to Kirk. Baker gets the sign. The kick, the delivery, and Kirk sends it out toward right field. Charging in for it and making the snag is Ryan O'Hearn, 1 away.
One of the rare times recently that we've seen Alejandro Kirk pull off the baseball on his swing. A little frustrated as he left the batter's box knowing that he missed a good pitch to hit there. It was that 4-seam fastball low and inside. Typically we've seen him get his barrel out in front and drive those balls out to left field, but he pulled off it just a bit too much and ended up hitting that weak fly out to the right side.
Blue Jays are going to have to get at least 1 or 2 hits here or a walk, something. Base runners. If this score stands up and we want to see Vladdy one more time with the chance for the cycle.
He needs that base hit. Usually it's the triple that people are searching for.
Well, especially for Vladdy, too. Like, no disrespect. He's not hitting too many triples.
But he got that one out of the way in the 6th inning. He just needs that single.
Joey Loperfido quickly down in the count, 0-2. Called strike on a curveball on that first pitch and just swung at a 4-seam fastball moments ago. Baker, the righty, to the lefty Loperfido. And Loperfido just sat down with the strikeout, his 3rd of the game.
It's a few times so far tonight that Loperfido has swung at pitches that are nowhere near the strike zone. Right before that last pitch, that 4-seam fastball was at least 3 baseballs outside of the zone away that he takes a cut at. And like we talked about throughout this game, that can completely change the course of the way that these pitchers attack you on the following pitch. And after that, Baker took his time and just threw another fastball up and out of the zone.
And Clement swings at the first pitch, sends it foul up and over the Baltimore dugout, 0-1 count. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill. 8-1. Angels still lead the Yankees in the top of the 7th inning.
Tyler Anderson having a good day for the Angels. So far he's gone 6 innings, just giving up 3 hits, 7 strikeouts.
The 0-1. It's dribbled back to the mound by Clement, and it's picked up by Baker. Little underhand toss to first to Ryan Mountcastle, and that will do it as the Blue Jays go down 1-2-3. And on to the 8th inning we go with Toronto leading 7-2. It looks like Kevin Gausman staying in the game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Is somebody gonna match my freak? All of the viral songs from TikTok's For You page.
All on one
Sirius XM channel.
Presented by creators like me.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
TikTok Radio.
TikTok Radio.
Channel 4 and the SiriusXM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The golf season is in full swing.
To the hole, could go, and it did! It did! There it is for Scotty Scheffler.
SiriusXM is your home for all the action from the PGA Tour.
Rory holds the follow-through. This has a chance to go in. A hole-in-one. Yes! Rory McIlroy with an ace!
Hear the entire FedEx Cup playoffs, culminating with the Tour Championship on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Now needs to curve, and it did! He buried it!
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're getting set to start this 8th inning with the Blue Jays leading the Orioles 7-2. And again, that's Anthony Santander, who must love our microphones down there, making a lot of noise in the background near that on-deck circle, as this 8th inning starts off with Colton Cowser and a first pitch ball from Kevin Gausman.
He's got that weight on the bat that he's using to try to get warmed up, and just conveniently goes to knock it off right near the microphone back behind the plate.
Swing and a miss from Cowser. The count is even at 1-1. Stay warm in style this September at the ballpark. On Monday, September 9th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays City Connect short sleeve hoodie. As Cowser missed on an opportunity to bunt there, sends it foul, 1-2. Visit BlueJays.com/promotions to get your tickets. The Blue Jays in the City Connect uniforms tonight, leading 7-2 here in the 8th inning. Cowser down in the count, 1-2. Gausman has thrown 93 pitches. This will be 94 in mere moments. And Cowser got a piece of that one. Fresh baseball coming for Gausman. Count stays at 1-2.
Been keeping an eye on the bullpen over there. Gausman, like you mentioned, getting up there in the pitch count. He did go up to 118 pitches when he threw that complete game against the Rangers, but typically right around mid-90s is where he sits.
Swing and a miss. Cowser just sat down. Only the second strikeout of the game for Kevin Gausman, but who cares as the Blue Jays lead 7-2 here in the 8th. There's one away.
And partially is because the Orioles have been aggressive early in the count against Gausman. They're going after either fastballs or splitters, and a lot of those fly ball outs have come on the first or second pitch of those at-bats.
Anthony Santander now steps in. 1 for 3 in the ball game. And the pitch from Gausman in for a strike. Clocked at 96, the fastball, 0-1 count.
And when you're throwing strikes early as a batter, you almost don't have any other choice but to swing early in the count. Have to make a decision. Do you want to go after the fastball? Do you want to go after the splitter? And when he's throwing both of them for strikes, we know how efficient he can be.
And now Gausman just came way inside on Santander, who contorts his body out of the way and throws his bat forward about halfway toward the mound, kind of toward the third base side, and Alejandro Kirk says, is that a swing or not?
He immediately turned back around to see if that was considered a swing. Clearly,
doesn't that seem like a no?
I guess technically when you're looking slow-mo, he released the bat before he had actually gone around and made a swing, but I definitely think there was an argument for it, even though he didn't intend to swing. Seemed like maybe the hands came around.
1-1 pitch, broken bat. Sent out to short, but it's picked up by the third baseman. And tossing it over to first is Ernie Clement. 2 away.
Gausman saying, you know what, I don't need that last one called for a strike. I'm just going to go ahead and jam him up with this 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Broke his bat, and out number 2. So far, very efficient inning here in the 8th inning.
I just looked down at my phone to see if the Sportsnet stat guys got back to me, and they did. So I've got some cycle numbers for you I will give to you in the bottom of the 8th inning. But I also, as I look at my phone, see the NBA announcing some of the Christmas Day games. I mean, we're talking August here, and now I've got Christmas on the mind.
Christmas in August? I guess typically it's Christmas in July, but I guess we can stretch that out a bit here.
2 down here in the 8th inning as Gausman delivers the pitch. Henderson out to first. Nice stab by Vladdy. Tosses it to Gausman covering the bag. And that will do it as the Orioles again go down 1-2-3. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Blue Jays leading by 5. It's 7-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or 7th inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big, on this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, Toronto leading Baltimore 7-2. Gregory Soto into the ballgame now, the lefty to pitch for Baltimore. As Addison Barger leads off this 8th inning, and the first pitch from Soto in for a strike. Got him with the sinker, 0-1.
Soto had that rough outing against the Jays in Game 1 when he came into the ballgame in the 6th inning, the bottom of the 6th inning. Ended up giving up 4 hits and 4 earned runs to the Jays.
And now quickly ahead on Barger, 0-2. Barger is 0 for 3 in the ballgame overall. Trying to stay alive in this at-bat. Lefty on lefty battle right here, and Soto missed way outside on that one. The slider skipped in the dirt about 4 feet outside the box, outside the zone. Barger, 1-2. And he just fouled off the 1-2 to stay alive. Leo Jimenez on deck. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would be the 5th hitter in this inning if the Blue Jays can get to him. And he would be a single away from the cycle, and I'll give you some cycle numbers in a moment. Barger slaps at the 1-2. It dribbles in front of the plate. It's picked up by Rutschman, who throws to first to get Barger by a couple of steps. 1 away. All right, 3 cycles in Blue Jays history, and shout out to Sportsnet Stats. It's not like I remembered this. So the Sportsnet Stats crew, they jumped on this for me, and I appreciate it. 3 cycles in Blue Jays history. Kelly Gruber, April 16th, 1989 against the Royals. Jeff Fry against the Rangers on August 17th, 2001. And the last time it was done, September 17th, 2019, against the Baltimore Orioles by Kevin Biggio.
Wow.
So 3 in franchise history. And an added note, because the Sportsnet stat crew is so awesome, Vladimir Guerrero, senior that is, hit for the cycle on September 14th, 2003 as a member of the Expos against the Mets. And, of course, he's in attendance tonight watching his son and the Blue Jays lead the Orioles 7-2.
That's going to be such a fun, healthy competition between father and son. And just the way that both of them are incredible athletes, incredible hitters, just to be able to have those types of conversations between the two of them. For him to be here in attendance, watching him hit's really got to be a great feeling from a parent perspective, too, just to watch him perform out there on the field.
And now the 1-2 pitch to Leo Jimenez, no good. It's 2-2. You know what? I'm in the mood to give out more love to SN Stats. I'll give you another number that they provided that I missed earlier. The 2-2 pitch. And Jimenez just got punched out. 2 away. Vladimir Guerrero earlier in this ball game joined Damaso Garcia, who did it in 82 and 83 as the only players in Blue Jays history with multiple career 20-game hit streaks.
Wow. Hard enough to even imagine getting 20 hits in a row, but to do that twice? That's incredible.
And now top of the order, George Springer slaps one out to short. And over the first, Gunnar Henderson records the out. And that will do it for the Blue Jays. And we probably aren't going to see Vladdy get that chance for the cycle as we go to the 9th inning with the Blue Jays leading 7-2. Hopefully I didn't just lay the jinx down. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. Let's go, we're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Cookout 400 from Richmond Raceway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription? What? Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11.
Are you ready for some football? Yeah, I'm ready for some football. Buffalo Bills' first preseason game of the year coming up in just a couple of days. August 10th, we'll be live right here on Toronto Sports Insider. Football fans, get ready. Baseball fans, get ready as well. And make sure you join us right here in the chat on Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you guys for making this amazing community what it is. We'll see you back in the chat. It's going to be a lot of fun cheering on the Buffalo Bills, Toronto's team. Go, Bills, go.
Back at Rogers Center, getting set to start the top of the 9th inning. Madison Shipman and Eric Smith with you from the Timbermart broadcast booth with the Blue Jays leading 7-2. Zach Pop into the ball game, so the night is done from Kevin Gausman, and what a job he did, walking away with a 5-run lead as the Blue Jays look to take this rubber match and win the series against the Orioles. The first pitch from Pop is high out of the zone, clocked at 96, 1-0 count.
First time we've seen Zach Pop since he came into the game against the Yankees in New York. Came in the 5th inning, got the strikeout against Giancarlo Stanton, but then gave up a couple of back-to-back hits to Jazz Chisholm Jr. and then Anthony Volpe ultimately ended up giving up 2 earned runs in his last outing.
Back with the strike on the next pitch, got him with the sinker. Ryan O'Hearn, even in the count now, 1-1. The left-handed bat of O'Hearn against the righty Pop, who comes in and misses with the sinker. It's 2-1. And now this one sent opposite field into left field. It's going to make its way down into the corner. Fair ball off the base of the wall, picked up by Loperfido, and he comes firing to second. What a play by Loperfido out in left field. Only his second game in this outfield, and he holds O'Hearn to a very long single.
And he's even getting a standing ovation and a round of applause from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. over at first base. This one hit incredibly hard off of the bat, out into left field, but he times it up. He knows that he doesn't have a shot to catch that one in the air, so he sets his body up to be able to position himself to field the ball barehanded and make a solid throw over to second base.
And the first pitch from Pop to Adley Rutschman, no good, missed with the sinker, clocked at 96, a 1-0 count. Back with the strike, caught the outside edge, 1-1. Actually, it wasn't that far outside, or inside, you know what I'm saying. 1-1 either way.
Definitely a strike. I think we can agree on that, right?
I'd say so. The lead at first for O'Hearn, and Rutschman swings and fouls that one off back into the backstop, and he's now down in the count, 1-2.
Some good late action on that sinker, too. You can tell by some of these swings that Adley Rutschman's taking it, speeding him up quite a bit with that sinker. He will go to that slider that he got called for the strike the pitch before, but you have to be on time for that fastball to even give yourself a chance in these at-bats against Zach Pop.
The 1-2 pitch outside, now 2-2. Pop gets the sign. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that one down low, and now 3-2.
Last thing you want to do here, even with the generous lead, is give the Orioles any sort or sense of momentum here at the top of the ninth inning. Do not want to issue any free passes with the amount of home runs that this offense has a tendency to hit as well.
And now sent into right field on a base hit, charging in for it to pick it up is Barger, as the Orioles go station to station on the first two batters. Back-to-back singles, 2 on, none out, here in the top of the ninth inning.
And the Orioles have shown throughout today's game against Gausman that they're going to swing early in the count if you throw it into the zone. Now, if you start to dance around outside of the strike zone, they're going to be patient and force you to have to throw something good. So Zach Pop can kind of pick up where Kevin Gausman left off by just attacking the strike zone with that sinker. It's got some great late action on it. Just trust in that pitch and trust in the infield defense behind you.
First pitch to Ryan Mountcastle, no good. Missed with that slider. Low, a little bit outside, 1-0 count. Right on right battle right here with Mountcastle. First and second, none out in the ninth inning, and now a 2-0 count.
These are the counts that you do not want to be in, especially against Ryan Mountcastle, who we've talked about throughout this series, has incredible numbers in his career against the Blue Jays, especially the home run ball. Have to keep him in the yard.
Back with a strike on the 2-0. The sinker is good, clocked at 97. It's 2-1.
Kirk working that frame on that pitch, too. I thought it was going to be called for a ball missing low, but instead gets called for a strike.
This one slapped foul, and people diving out of the way down near that Oriole dugout and the camera bay on that side of the field. And the count now even at 2-2. And this one dribbled down the third base line. Barehanding it is Clement. No play at first. He smartly holds onto it. And the Orioles have the bases loaded with none out here in the ninth.
Unfortunately, a little bit of bad luck there for Zach Pop. He throws a good sinker inside, jams him up, But the ground ball was hit too softly over to third base that Ernie Clement just did not have a chance to make a play at any base. It was hit so soft.
And that's going to do it for Zach Pop. He's going to come out of the ball game. John Schneider comes out, takes the ball from him. And with this call to the bullpen, we go back to baseball control and our host, Nick Blackmore.
Thank you very much, Eric and Madison. Before we get to the out-of-town scoreboard, just a quick reminder, Ben and Barker will have Jays talk following the final out. As said before, Ben Ennis will toss out the number for you to dial once this game is in the books. Let's get to that out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. The Reds and Marlins have gone final. The Reds put up a 7 spot in the top of the 10th inning. They finish off that game 10-4. The Angels and the Yankees are currently in the top of the 8th inning. The Angels still up big, 9-1. The Tampa Bay Rays are in the bottom of the 7th, and they lead the Cardinals 5-4. Some later starts in about, let's say, 10 minutes or so. We're going to see the Tigers and Seattle scheduled for 9:40. Then the Phillies and the Diamondbacks also scheduled for the same time, 9:40. If you guys are wondering what happened in Paris today, Canada, again, they added a couple of medals. They're up to 21 now. Maud Sharon grabbed the silver medal in women's weightlifting, and Winnipeg's Skylar Park grabbed the bronze. In the National Bank Open, the last 2 Canadians in the women's draw are out. Leylah Fernandez lost in straight sets, as did Marina Stojkovic. 2 Americans, Ashlyn Kruger and Taylor Townsend. Jump over to sportsnet.ca for all the baseball, Olympic, tennis, and NFL coverage you desire. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Now, back to the action at Rogers Center. Here's Eric Smith and Madison Shipman.
All right, thanks very much, Nick. The Blue Jays running into some trouble here in the 9th inning with a 7-2 lead. It's the bases loaded with none out, and thus Chad Green will come into the ball game.
And when you come into the top of the 9th inning in a 5-run lead, you're hoping that you don't have to use Chad Green, especially with 6 games in a row in the next 6 days coming up for the Blue Jays. But instead, getting into some trouble with Zach Pop, so Chad Green's going to do his best to get out of this game and hopefully win this ball game, limiting the damage.
Jackson Holliday, first pitch, strike. And now he sends one down the third base line, and Clement grabs it and smartly scampers over to third to step on the bag ahead of the sliding Adley Rutschman. A run will score as Ryan O'Hearn trots in. So the Blue Jay lead has been cut to 7-3. It's now 1st and 2nd for the Orioles with 1 away.
With where Ernie Clement was positioned when that ball was put in play, he was pretty much playing in the shortstop position. I agree with you. He did not have a play at any other base other than to tag third base to get that force out. So a run does come across, but smart defense by Ernie.
And now swinging at the first pitch and sending it opposite field. One bounce off the track, off the wall, picked up by Loper Fido. It's going to be a double for Cedric Mullins, scoring another one for Baltimore as the Orioles have cut it now to 7-4, and it's runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 away. Jackson Holliday stopping at 3rd. Again, a pretty decent job out there playing it off the wall by Joey Loperfido, and that probably prevented Jackson Holliday from coming home as well.
He's done a really good job over in left field today. Those little things that don't necessarily show up on a stat sheet, but he has been fielding those balls barehanded after they get off of the wall in left field, making solid throws into the relays. But this is where the first couple of batters in the top of the 9th inning, where Zach Pop was falling behind, forced to have to bring something good into the strike zone, this is where it comes back to haunt you here. Because now you're having to deal with this Orioles lineup that is just hunting for good pitches to hit. And now it seems like finally late in this ball game, they're starting to see the baseball a lot better than they were against Gausman.
And now checking into the ball game in place of Ramon Urias, Eloy Jimenez. Second and third, just 1 away. A big cut on that first pitch by Jimenez. And Green got him with the fastball, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1-1. Baltimore went down in order in the 7th and 8th inning with Kevin Gausman still in the game, but he didn't start the 9th. And the Blue Jay bullpen, specifically Zach Pop.
You begin to wonder, too, if that pitch count hadn't run up on him really in the 3rd inning when he issued the 2 walks in that inning. If his pitch count was down a little bit lower, would they have brought him back out in the 9th inning to finish it off with that 5-run lead? Would have been close. His pitch count was getting up there, but I think it would have been close. Definitely a discussion. But you'd think with the 5-run lead in the 9th inning, you can bring in Zach Pop to finish it out.
Big cut, big miss, and a bigger strikeout by Chad Green as Jimenez sits down. There are 2 away.
The benefit of getting ahead in the count is being able to utilize your bread and butter pitch, your fastball up and out of the zone, because once you fall behind as a batter, you start to get into chase mode, especially with 2 runners over there in scoring position. And you know the pinch hitter coming off of the bench wants to make something happen. It's a really well-located fastball up.
Colton Cowser now up, top of the order. And the 1-0 pitch, he swings and fouls that one off. Even in the count, now 1-1. Crowd trying to rally on Chad Green and the Blue Jays right here. Orioles down to their final out, the 1-1 pitch. And that one's good for a strike. Might have been a little bit high, but you'll take it and run if you're a Blue Jay fan as Green gets ahead, 1-2. And now everybody rising here at Rogers Center. Green comes set. The kick, the delivery, fouled off by Cowser to keep this game alive.
Didn't look like Cowser was really a fan of that 4-seam fastball that was called for strike 2, so he takes a big cut at that next one, pretty much located in the exact same spot, up and away.
Crowd settles down. Here's the pitch from Green, and it's down low in the dirt. Missed with the slider, 2-2. Toronto trying to take 2 of 3 against the Orioles. Green looks in at the sign. The 2-2 pitch. And this one sent out to second, diving and missing the ball off his glove into right field. Horwitz couldn't come up with it. Baltimore plates 2 more. It's now 7-6, and the game continues. In to score Jackson Holliday and Cedric Mullins, and this will bring up the go-ahead run to the plate with 2 away.
Tried to throw back-to-back sliders to Colton Cowser, and that slider out of the hand of Chad Green, of course, is going to curve its way more into the barrel of the lefty Cowser, and he was out in front, and this pitch was well out of the zone, low in the zone, but he was still able to let go with that top hand and just pull it enough to get it past the diving glove of Spencer Horwitz.
And I really thought that Horwitz was going to come up with that ball. Cowser running to first as he tried to stop his momentum. That left foot dug down in the dirt and rolled awkwardly. He's being tended to right now by the training staff, given a moment here to run up and down that right field line. He has speed, and they certainly want to make sure that their outfielder is good. We saw the replay from our Sportsnet TV friends. That foot, that ankle did kind of twist pretty funky, but he's going to stay in the ball game.
Well, now if you're Chad Green, you've got to deal with Anthony Santander, which is exactly what you did not want to happen late into this ball game with now just a 1-run lead.
He will be the 8th batter of the inning for Baltimore, and a big cut at the first pitch. And Green ahead 0-1.
Pretty sure he was trying to hit the go-ahead 2-run home run with that swing. Huge cut at that fastball up.
Green back to Santander. Missed with that one down low. It's 1-1. Crowd trying to get a Let's Go Blue Jays chant going as Toronto has given up 4 runs here in the top of the 9th inning. Their 7-2 lead hanging by a thread at 7-6 with a man on first. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Green. High, 2-1. And now folks are getting restless.
Now you're in a tough spot, too, because I like those locations of the fastballs up, especially with the way that Santander swung and missed at the first one. But now he's not biting at those pitches.
And he just fouled one toward the third base side, up and over the Blue Jay dugout. Hit the 5th row, bounced into about the 10th, 12th row. And now 2-2, Baltimore down to their final strike. Crowd starts to buzz again. Everybody starts to rise again. Blue Jays leading 7-6. Can they do it right here and slam the door shut on this Baltimore comeback bid? Green, the kick, the delivery, and Santander skies one way high, and it's going to make its way into the stands about 5 rows, this time above the Baltimore dugout. And we'll do it again at 2-2. He just got in front of that one because otherwise he could have taken that thing for a ride.
It's a couple of pitches now back-to-back. One was the slider. That one was that four-seam fastball that Chad Green got away with a few pitches because they were pretty much center cut. And Santander is definitely in swing mode knowing this game's on the line.
And the 2-2 sent into center field, but plenty of room, and this should do it, folks. Varsho underneath it to make the grab, and Toronto wins. It took a little bit longer than you wanted to, but in the end, it's only the W that counts. Toronto beats Baltimore 7-6, taking 2 of 3 against the Orioles.
Got a little spicy there at the end, a little uncomfortable, but the Blue Jays come away with a win and a series win nonetheless. Good team effort, too. Can't say enough great things about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and what he's been able to do up at the batter's box. But how about Kevin Gausman and the start that he had tonight, going those 8 innings, only giving up those 2 earned runs through 8. Was very efficient, kind of took advantage of the fact that the Orioles were aggressive in the count, induced a lot of fly ball outs, and set the tone for this team.
And not for nothing, I don't know if you remember or not, but when we were done with the bottom of the 8th, I said, Vladdy's not going to get that at bat. Blue Jays look like they're going to take this unless I just throw out, a big-time jinx. I was sweating a little bit. I was sweating a little bit.
One more run, and I was going to go ahead and throw that one on you.
I'm not going to lie. So the Blue Jays win 7-6. We'll step aside for the break, come back with the play of the game, and some final thoughts before Jays Talk begins. Toronto wins 7-6. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy outdoor activities before continuing the fun inside while you cheer on the Blue Jays.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. We're 2menintruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2menintruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2menintruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menintruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. He keeps this game tied
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Eric Smith and Madison Shipman with you as the Blue Jays beat the Orioles 7-6. Toronto gives up 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning as that 7-2 lead was hanging by a thread. But again, they win 7-6. Baltimore ends up out-hitting Toronto with 8 hits for those 6 runs. Baltimore 7 runs on 7 hits. But again, who cares about the hits? The Blue Jays. I almost said Raptors again. I got basketball in the mind ever since seeing those Christmas games. And a big win for the U.S. team today, by the way, to advance to the gold medal game against France in Olympic basketball. But back to the baseball. It's a series win for the Blue Jays, taking 2 of 3 over Baltimore. And what a night for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as he finishes a single shy of the cycle. Here's the pitch. Vladdy sends it toward the gap in right center. It's going to make it to the wall. One bounce off the track. Coming around to score is George Springer. And Varsho was about 6 feet from Springer's backside and had to hold up at third as Vladdy goes into second for the double. And now Guerrero sends one on a ride out towards right field. It's back at the wall. It's over and gone. Into the Baltimore bullpen. Vladimir Guerrero with a 2-run home run to extend the lead for the Blue Jays as Vladdy sends one on a ride. 376 feet. Vladdy sends one on a ride to right field. Jumping up against the wall and missing it is Ryan O'Hearn. Vladdy's going to turn the corner and get to third. Man, he had the Jets on. It's a stand-up triple for Vladdy. And there it is right there, a single shy of the cycle. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. finishes the night 3 for 4. He extends his hit streak. And what a night and what a tear Vladdy has been on.
It's incredible to watch him hit when he is seeing the baseball as well as he is. And today's just a prime example of how he puts pitchers in a spot to where they don't know how to pitch him. They don't know what to pitch him to even try to get him out. There's even been times through this stretch where they've thrown him pitches that are outside of the zone that he still manages to find solid barrel on. But tonight, the game plan for them was to try to throw everything on the outside part of the plate. So what does Vladdy do? He just starts taking everything the opposite direction, starts driving it out to right field. Just that single shy of the cycle. But that is really what propelled this entire offense too. And I go all the way back to that double back in the first inning. You want to be able to score early against the Orioles. And so far this season, Dean Kramer had just given up 1 run in the first inning in all 15 games that he had started, and the Blue Jays put up 3 in that first inning. I think it set the tone too, and it gives a little bit of breathing room for Kevin Gausman and the job that he did tonight, keeping these Blue Jays in the game long enough to be able to win that ball game and throw in those 8 innings, just gave up the 2 runs, 3 hits. It was a really solid day for Gausman.
So Toronto now sitting at 53-62, getting set to open up a 3-game series at home against the Oakland Athletics as Toronto again gets the win tonight, beating Baltimore 7-6. Any final thoughts?
I'm just glad that we continue to raise our record up here
Absolutely.
in the radio booth. Couple of wins, a series win against the Orioles. It's always a good day when you can beat a fellow AL East team in a series.
And you know what? Nothing's going to change, it would seem, in the American League East as the Yankees are losing 9-3 to the Angels in the top of the 9th inning. But again, I almost put the jinx on here too. In front of 27,910, the Blue Jays win 7-6 in a game that took 2 hours and 39 minutes. Thanks to our technical directors, Tom Young and Andrew Adams, our host and producer, Nick Blackmore. Jays Talk is coming up in mere moments with Ben Ennis and Kevin Barker. For Madison Shipman, I'm Eric Smith. I'll be back again tomorrow night with Chris LaRue for that first game of the A's and Jays. Thanks for tuning in, folks, to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
590 star, 590 on the cell. Kev, it's been basically all season long outside of April for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. that he's been this good. But this is otherworldly, man. 2021 was pretty good. He was the best hitter in the American League. He was second in the American League MVP voting to Shohei Ohtani. But he was actually a better hitter than Shohei that season. Shohei deservedly won because he was also one of the best pitchers in the American League that year. I don't know, what we're watching in the last month or so is better than anything I can remember from the 2021 season. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's the way he's using the other way, right? The balls that he's hitting to right field, to right center, up the middle, the ones that we were sort of remember the last couple of years that he would hit, he thought he got. He didn't, and now he's getting them, and he knows when he gets it, they've been gotten, and I think that's the big difference. It is amazing when sort of you make some adjustments, right? He saw Teoscar when they were with the Dodgers, and Teoscar gave him a lighter, shorter bat, told him to move around the batter's box just a little bit, just sort of freed him up, and then it gave him confidence, right? He'd been searching for a couple of years trying to find the timing with the hands and the front foot, and now it's given him the great foundation which he needs because of, the steep bat path that he has. His hands go by his face, and, it's not so much that leading with the back elbow, the barrel's always the last thing you see. So point of contact is huge, and having a great foundation starts with the timing of the hands and the front foot. And going up there with the bad intentions that he's been going up there with, man alive. Again, I've said this and I'll continue to say it. Boy, if you're a Jays fan, you can close your eyes. And if you could add somewhat of a close kind of hitter to Vladdy to just sprinkle somewhere in front of him or behind him an entire season, man alive, I would strongly say probably that the season, if they'd have done that in the offseason last year, probably would look a little bit different.
Yeah, so the Yankees have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. And right now, the Blue Jays have you take your pick, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. They have 50% of that right now. I mean, the rest of the Yankees order is it's slightly better than what the Blue Jays can offer, but not exactly powerhouses littered up and down that lineup. It is on the strength of those two guys that they've put themselves in position to make the playoffs and challenge the Orioles for the top of the division. Yeah, if they could find somebody to go back-to-back, belly-to-belly with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I mean, do an Eddie Bautista combo, or Jose Bautista, Josh Donaldson combination, something similar to that. It's not all you need, but boy, if you could do that, it's a great starting spot.
Absolutely. Well, obviously the Yankees are trying to tell you that Judge couldn't do it by himself. That's why they went out and got Soto to help, right? You need two to try and take you where you ultimately need to go, right? When the push comes to shove and they're trying to, pitch around one of them, you can't really do that because of the other one. So, yeah, it's right in front of you now. If you're the organization, you sort of know what you need, right? Now it's just, do you have the means, and is the ownership still willing to pony up? And nothing I've heard says otherwise. So hopefully they try and do that a little bit, and dare I say, try and solidify that pen, because, even a 7-2 lead against a really good team is, Zach Pop is slowly but surely sort of pitching his way out of, not being a part of this. So, again, it's, I say it's not hard. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. It's not hard to fix, right? You know what you need. Like, you need a better bullpen. You need a ninth inning guy. You probably need an eighth inning guy to go with what you already have. And you need a thumper, at least one. You get those two or three things, now we're cooking with gravy.
We sure are. Delicious, delicious gravy. All right, phone lines are open. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590. Let's go to the phone lines. Russ in New Jersey. Hey, Russ.
Good evening, gentlemen. I want to go back to the press conference yesterday from Shapiro, and I'll say, I said it on the show a number of times, I never thought Ross Atkins was getting fired. I think Shapiro's his buddy. I think that's why, when you had an opportunity. And I don't know how good of a GM Tony LaCava would have been, but Tony LaCava had been a long, long time person who was spoken about as a GM, turned down the job in Baltimore because he didn't want to work for Peter Angelos. And they took a guy, Ross Atkins, who had no experience. It's his buddy, and he's going to stick up for him. And, I thought the press conference was a joke yesterday. The Blue Jays are basically in the bottom, of every single category, whether it's offense or pitching. And, I know you just said the Yankees, you have, yes, Judge and Soto are their big two guys. They just picked up a guy, Chisholm, who is 60 RBIs on a Florida team that wasn't very good. Stanton, I know he's not a great hitter, and he strikes out a lot. He frustrates you. He's probably still going to have 25 homers. Volpe, I'm not saying they're a great team, the Yankees, but look at the other team on the diamond tonight. That's the team that you're going to be competing for years to come. And you're light years behind that team. They still have talent coming up. And, I thought they should have traded Bassett at the trading deadline because I didn't think they're going to be competitive in 2025. And when I mean competitive, I'm sick of guys will make the third wild card, the second wild card. I don't care if we win a series. The goal is to win the World Series. Now, I know it's a crapshoot once you get in, but you know what? You don't have a team, even the last few years, that really was competitive to win that World Series. And I just don't believe in Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro. And the last thing I'll say is I'm sick of hearing about Mark Shapiro built the stadium. You could have got a contractor in Toronto to build the stadium. You don't get credit for building the stadium from a baseball perspective. He hasn't done anything for the baseball team. And I'll tell you, the guy that we let go, ownership let go on day one, Alex Antopoulos, I don't know this year because he's had so many injuries, but he's won a World Series. He's been deep in the playoffs many years, and we gave him up for this joke.
All right, thanks for the call, Russ. There's a lot there, Kev. I mean, I'll just start with the Ross Atkins, Mark Shapiro thing. Yeah, they obviously had a prior relationship, and Atkins being the farm director with the Indians back when Mark was the GM, and obviously is a guy that he knew and felt comfortable giving him the job. And I think results-wise, it's hard to argue that it's been a lot lacking now as we approach a decade worth of work. But I think you can pretty clearly see a finish line here, and there's a reason why we keep hearing about 2025 and I guess a little bit 2026, but not beyond because, contractually, I mean, Bowen and Vlad, their years of team control only go through 25. Mark Shapiro's deal only goes through 25, and Ross Atkins' deal only goes through 2026. So, I mean, fans might not like it, but it seems like reading the tea leaves here and listening to Mark Shapiro speak, it feels like they're going to run it back for one more season, and things go pear-shaped. I mean, you want to talk about a rebuild, there could be a front office rebuild at the end of the 2025 season.
Yeah, I would think, to the extensions, you brought up a good point about Mark Shapiro and his extension and his contract and when it ends and, just what he would have to go through to get a new GM in here and the GM would want a new coaching staff and a new manager, and you going to do all that in a year? Like, I'm not making excuses for him, but you can sort of understand where he's coming from. I will say this. I think listening to him talk, they understand what they need. I think if you want to hang your hat on it and be hopeful for anything, I've never heard Mark talk like that. I've never heard Mark say that, basically, the model that we were using didn't work. And now we understand that. And now we're going to have to get in a room as a group and figure out why and fix it. And I take that hopefully as, you need a cleanup hitter. You need a closer. You need things, dudes that can play every day. Like, that you don't have to match up and expect coaching staffs and managers to always get that part right. So, again, I think if they have money, hopefully they spend it in the right way. And hopefully that's what some of the fans took away from what Mark was saying. But Russ speaks for a lot of fans. I think a lot of fans for the Blue Jays feel that way. And I think that's understandable. I think sometimes you earn the way fans think. And I think fans, a lot of them think exactly the way Russ thinks.
Hard not to think about a blank check for Vladimir Guerrero after
man.
Like he put.
Yeah, but hey, Ben, it only makes sense if you got enough to go out and get something to sort of, add to what he's trying to do and what you're trying to do with an organization. If that's not the case, then what's the point? I mean, really.
Yeah, he can't do it all by himself, although he basically won a series against the American League East leaders all by himself. Some help from Alejandro
Yeah, way
Kirk,
to go, Brandon Hyde. I mean, don't be afraid to walk him occasionally.
Hey, that would have been an intentional walk I could have gotten behind. I think.
How about that?
Even with first base occupied. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Shlomo's in Scarborough.
Hey guys, Ben, welcome to Blue Jays Talk. Guys, Russ does a great job when he calls in. He does. He's a great guest. He knows his stuff. To expand on what he's saying, it's not my question. It's not what I was going to talk about, but I guess it's a good segue. These boys, Shapiro spent over $2 billion, guys. $1.6 billion on payroll, and then put in $500 million on the stadium. Whatever he spent in Florida, I know he schmoozed some of those counselors and stuff out there to put some of the bill in Dundee, but he spent a lot of money, over $2 billion. So you guys had Passan on there last week saying that Vladdy can't get $300 million. Okay, you're his agent. How does he not get $300 million? Freddie Freeman, $27 million a season. Vladdy, way younger. Guys, he's going to get $300 million. If he doesn't get that, look what he's doing with no protection. He's got a lineup full of Buffalo Bisons. Look who's in front of him and behind him. These guys are all fighting for the Mendoza line. And this guy's playing baseball out of his mind. And he's a young guy, man. Like, we're seeing Vladdy hit like this. Look how what we saw from Joey and Eddie. Those guys were pushing 30. This guy's barely pushing 25. He's unbelievable right now. I feel bad ever doubting the guy because he's young. If he keeps this going, I mean, his body stayed relatively healthy. He's on the field. He's durable. He's a winner. He loves the city. These guys are selling uniforms for $225 for a very ugly uniform. They can afford to pay the man $300 million and bring in another bopper. He deserves it. What do you guys think?
Thanks for the call, Shlomo. That's where I'm at. I know no first baseman has gotten that type of price tag, and Pete Alonso's out there. He's not going to get it just because of the age thing, and Pete Alonso is a big banger. He doesn't hit for the average that Vlad does. He doesn't have the same age that Vlad is. And you know what? He doesn't have the same name, which accounts for not everything, but it's got to account for something, I think, that he is the face of this franchise. I mean, if the price tag was less than $300 million at some point in one of these off seasons and the Blue Jays passed on that, I think that's a huge mistake.
Yeah, well, every time we have Passan on, we have him on for a reason, right? Because he just doesn't say things to get people all fired up. He does it because he's had conversations that
we're going to talk to him tomorrow, by the way, on Blair.
Yeah,
Park.
I'm sure that'll be brought up again, right? Look, I think that conversation about what the number starts with, a 2 or a 3, that he's way north of 1 now. Like, you don't even have the conversation with something that starts with a 1. It's just the fact of, the years, the amount you would make per year, and sort of that year, what that would equal up to, right? You got to remember too, at his age, he'll get another deal. It's just not. So again, if I'm his agent, I'm thinking about every time I see him hitting a home run to right field, boy, I could just load up a bunch of $100 bills and put them in a bathtub and start, swimming around in there, because that's what's got to happen. like it's something else. So yeah, look, it's going to be intriguing. I'm going to stay in the camp of, if they would have thought that highly of Vladdy, they'd already signed him. Well, that's the camp I'm in. But hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah, just like Shlomo, I saw what he did in 2021, and I thought, okay, this is it. This is a guy emerging. And then, 2022 happened. It was a good season, but not near what 2021 was. And then we had last year. And then understandably, a lot of people did wonder, well, how much of what he was in 2021 was built on the strength of all those home runs hit in Dunedin.
And who was around him.
Yeah, and who was around him, and could he do it this season? Honestly, it changes a lot for me. Like, that he's able to do it in a normal season with absolutely nothing around him in this ballpark, reconfigured. That the way they changed the dimensions last year were not detrimental to him. He now has more home runs at home than on the road this season. This, to me, is the proof of concept season. Like, going into today's game, he had an OPS plus of 161, which was right there with the OPS plus of 167 he had in 2021. He's having the same year, except he's playing in Major League ballparks all his games. I needed to see this first, though.
Yeah, look, I think it's his age. It was the expectations that the front office put on him because of what they didn't bring in after they made the trade to Arizona, right? You take away some thumpers, some guys that can hit in the middle of the order, some guys who can hit good pitching, and then you throw it all off on 1 and 2 guys, right? It's the shortstop and the first baseman. And I've been one of those guys that said sometimes it looked to me like those 2 dudes wanted to be a part of the piece and not the piece. That's why you need to run out and get you a cleanup hitter and somebody that can protect those 2 guys and at least just let them get in the flow of the season, right? And in the way the season started, he got off to a slow start, and then they're basically out of it, and then all of a sudden he just goes berserk. I think a little bit of that goes hand in hand, right? It's free and easy. I'm not carrying the team anymore. What do we got to lose? I'm going to go up there. I got a good foundation. I mean, I've talked about the mechanics, and now it's just about getting a good pitch to hit and use the entire field because he's just got bad intentions. He's got more confidence than any human alive right now. So, yeah, look, I will say this. If you're sitting up there in the front office and you're watching this, you're thinking to yourself, boy, I can sure save myself if I just run out and try and get me somebody that can help this out a little. And hopefully I can get Bo happy and healthy, and he can do his part to start the season. And I can add some filler pieces, right? If I don't get a 9th inning guy because I spended on the thumper following Vladdy, then I can get something similar to that. An educated older guy who's got some experience who, can get a tough left-handed hitter out, and it's not always a pocket thing. So I still don't think it's a hard fix. I think it's right in front of you. You know what it is. It's just about, will they go out and do it, and do they have the means to do it?
Kevin Gausman picks up his 10th win of the season, goes 8 strong, giving up just 2 earned runs on 3 hits. Only 2 strikeouts, though, Kev. This is the American League leader in strikeouts a season ago. Hey, you'll take it if that's what you can do against an offense like the Orioles, give up just 2 earned runs. But is this the new Kevin Gausman? Is this something sustainable that you can carry over into 2025?
Yeah, I think I'll take this. I mean, you got to remember too, he's thrown a bazillion innings. I mean, he's let go of a bazillion baseballs, and he's got 2 pitches. He's trying to reinvent himself with the slider and the 2-seamer. Get him going one way and throw the fastball up and in. Right? It's he went a little time there with the split finger wasn't splitting. I like it that he's now all of a sudden established fastballs getting called strikes down. Like, I think you can limit the damage by throwing down. And it just seems to me like when you can tunnel those 2 pitches and occasionally sprinkle in the other 2 that now you like to throw, you can get deeper in games. Now it's not always about punching everybody out. It's about getting quick, efficient outs by pounding the zone down. And every once in a while, just because you get a little older and the thing's just not coming out as hot as it used to, you got to reinvent yourself. And I'm okay with this guy. This is, again, you get older, you got to do things sometimes you don't want to do. He's a very smart guy. He's got a very good pitching coach. They're going to do everything they can do. He's made that mechanical change by not standing as tall. He's getting his arm angle is a little different, which allows him to be a little bit more competitive arm side. He's not missing as much there. That'll allow him to get quicker outs, go a little bit deeper, have some quicker innings, not throw as many pitches there. So, man, I'll take that 8 innings against a good team every day and twice on Sunday.
Keep it to just 3 outs required from the second worst bullpen in baseball. It's a smart move. And almost too many outs for this bullpen to pick up. Just enough, though, as they hold on for a 7-6 win over the Orioles. More Blue Jays talk. Ben Ennis and Kevin Barker next on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
This summer, catch the excitement of Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. From pregame to postgame, Blue Jays Central breaks down what went down and why. When the action heats up on the field, Sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app take you deeper inside the game. Headlines, scores, highlights, and more.
It is way out of here.
Watch or stream on Sportsnet or listen to every game on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. All summer, only one source brings you closer to the action. Sportsnet, home of the Blue Jays.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Witches, wizards, and muggles, come down to the core as Roger Center transforms into Hogwarts. Harry Potter-themed entertainment and activities around the ballpark. Magic moments create core memories. So fly down to Roger Center on Friday, August 9th. And get one of 4 Blue Jays Harry Potter Hogwarts House Raglan shirts. Harry Potter Night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster and warmer?
Cheers, Insiders. I just wanted to take a quick minute to say thank you. Appreciate you guys being here and keeping this chat fired up all the time, whether it's for the Maple Leafs games, the Blue Jays games, the Argos games. We're going to start doing TFC games as well. Anything Toronto sports, it's right here on Toronto Sports Insider, and I just wanted to say thank you for helping me create this amazing community. So keep up the great work. Make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure that bell is turned on, and we'll see you guys back in the chat. Go Jays, go.
He kind of approaches every single at bat is what it's a little bit. And, yeah, you're watching a really great player kind of figure some shit out right now.
I like hearing the swears from John Schneider in a positive manner because we heard it a lot.
If I had his bullpen, I'd be cussing a lot too.
That was a positive cussing today. It's Blue Jays talk on Sports.
Sorry, I want to give you an example. He's talking about like the bat in the 5th inning, right, where he hit the 2-1 fastball for the 2-run homer to right field. Yes. He took the 1-1 split finger.
Yes,
to get because if he swings at that, it's 1-2, right? Mm-hmm. And those leverage counts, you want to swing it in your direction, right? Gives you a better chance of getting the fastball that was basically, I don't want to say it was center cut, but it was middle a little bit up, and it just allows him to, be balanced and get the barrel out in front. Making contact in front of his front leg the way he does. And that's what John's talking about. When he's doing that and he's got bad intentions, he's got the confidence he does. So, man, it is. I mean, it's right there, right? I mean, when he's like this, you're having conversations of, wow, like just give him that blank check that I was talking about.
Well, I mean, it's a one-man race for the American League MVP. It's Aaron Judge and then Bobby Witt Jr. a couple of rungs down, and there's Juan Soto. But I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. If he keeps this up, he's gonna get American League MVP down ballot votes, like he should. The way he's hitting right now.
Well, you know what it is? Now the Blue Jays are watchable, even though there are 75 games out of first place. I tweeted out today.
It's one of my favorite shows.
Because of him.
Yeah, watching his at-bats is one of my favorite shows right now.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you beat him right now because those fastballs, even if they're inside, he's shooting them 105 miles an hour off the wall in right field. It's stupid.
Well, they're trying to go
the low breaking balls or the splitters.
Yeah. When he's not going so well, it's in off the plate because of plate coverage or plate awareness, and it's the slider down and away, right? That's exactly what Kramer was trying to do. He's trying to pound him in to get him out of way. It's the fanny out, it's the arms getting away from the body. He's not as strong, and it's the roll over to shortstop. Well, hate to break it to you, but he ain't swinging at those, and now he's forcing you to be on the plate. And how many pitchers can always throw it where they want to? It's rare. Give him a chance to throw it down the middle. Sooner or later, they'll do it, and when they're doing it, he ain't missing them.
No, he's not missing it. And the Orioles are in a dogfight at the top of the American League East, so every win and losing a series to the Blue Jays obviously hurts them a bunch. Blue Jays about to start a series at home against the Oakland A's, who are obviously not battling for a playoff spot. They're about to go on the road to Anaheim, where the Angels obviously aren't battling for a playoff spot. Cubs, it's been as equally a disaster season for them as well. They're in the same spot as the Blue Jays, and then they come back home for the Reds and the Angels. So like this idea that Vlad is a one-man team right now and you can't pitch to him, which is true if you cared all that much about winning the baseball game. I'm not too sure any of these upcoming opponents are too worried about that too much. Kev, like, yeah, I think he's gonna continue to get pitches to hit upcoming.
Yeah, he needs 7 for 30. 7 more big ones for 30 homers. Like, that 30 is just a nice round number after the way his season started. If he hits 30, I think he quiets all the doubters. Like, people that still don't think he can consistently do it all year because of the way his season started and how bad it was, and he fell off a cliff, and now he ends up with 30 big ones. I think he can do it.
No, he's silenced me. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that were like me that saw 2021. They saw it was possible, but then in the subsequent couple of seasons after that, wondered how real 2021 was. We needed to see one more year. I needed to see one more year. I needed to see a season like this before I fully believed. And now that he's showing that it is possible again in a normal season, even without any lineup protection, I'd be handing him the bag. I don't care about the first base thing. I know that they tried him at third base a couple of times, made a couple of errors yesterday. I don't care about the positional thing. Like, hitting is so hard to come by in 2024 in Major League Baseball. If you can hit, you got to get paid, and the Blue Jays should be paying Vladimir Guerrero Jr. All right. Thanks for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Hamilton on Ditton Drive and downtown on Victoria Avenue. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Guerrero Jr. 20-game hit streak, a single shy of the cycle. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Blue Jays Talk. For Kevin Barker, I'm Ben Ennis on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Every NFL game is on SiriusXM.
To the end zone, touchdown!
It's week 1 of the preseason.
It's exciting just to be back and hear the roar of the crowd.
Hear every snap and your team's pre- and post-game shows on the SiriusXM app. Plus, NFL Radio's training camp tour gets you ready for the season with previews of all 32 teams.
Playing this position, you get the credit, you get the blame, but I love leading these guys.
They've attacked it. They've challenged each other. So you get into these camps and you want to see that.
Just search for your favorite team on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Nothing matches the passion, the excitement, the history-making moments of college sports. And nobody takes you inside the greatest campuses and stadiums across the country like SiriusXM College Sports Radio. Listen to all of the play-by-play action, expert analysis, and in-depth interviews with your favorite team. No matter the season, we have something for you. Your home for all things college sports is on SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Blue Jays fans, after this game, get back to what's really important. Your fantasy football team. We're talking about it right now on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and the SiriusXM app.
590 The Fan is your destination for Canadian football. Be listening Thursday mornings for a look at the games to come and Monday mornings for a recap of all the action. Get up to date with the Canadian Football Report, brought to you by Securian Canada.
the official life insurance partner of the CFL. For more than 65 years, Securian Canada's insurance solutions have been helping Canadians build secure tomorrows. For more information, visit securiancanada.ca.
Every time summer hits, I get this wild urge to get sweet, spicy, and sophisticated. I'm going to Margapalooza, baby.
It's back. The city's favorite margarita festival. It's Margapalooza, only at Lone Star. Why not try the all-new Fireball in Paradise margarita or banana raspberry creamsicle? With 28 amazingly tasty margaritas to choose, you can tag the whole crew because summer only comes once a year. Margapalooza, on now at Lone Star. Your home for fajitas, Ritas, and good times. Visit lonestar.ca.
Great play. Let's go down to Jim on the field.
Unbelievable game, Rob. You had a rough start this year. What changed?
Yeah, getting more sleep. I was up every night snoring, so I saw Dr. Pillersdorf, and she used a laser to treat my snoring and gave me an oral appliance, like a sports mouth guard for my sleep apnea. Now my wife and I sleep through the night.
Thanks, Rob.
Problem snoring? Suffer from sleep apnea? Invest in yourself. Book an appointment with Dr. Paulette Pillersdorf. Call 647-243-2006.
It's your business. You built it yourself. Let Rogers Sports and Media help make it grow. There's now an easy way to buy advertising. Rogers Sports and Media Ad Manager. Promote your business with Rogers Sports and Media, Canada's most beloved sports news and entertainment network. RSM Ad Manager is self-serve and simple. We'll even give you a $250 ad credit to build your first campaign today. Visit grow.rogersportsandmedia.com to claim your ad credit. That's grow.rogersportsandmedia.com.
One call, that's all.
1-800-JUSTICE. Car accident? Slip and fall? If you've been injured and need legal advice, call Presler Law at 1-800-JUSTICE and get over 60 years experience, a free consultation, and a no-win, no-fee policy.
1-800-JUSTICE.
When you're in need of legal help after being injured, call Presler Law for a free case review.
Presler Law.
One call, that's all.
1-800-JUSTICE. 439-Pizza Nova. 439-Pizza Nova.
Ciao, I'm Dominic Vimucci, and I have exciting news to share. Ciao Rewards is here. Turn your love for pizza into delicious rewards. Download our new app and start earning points to redeem for free pizza and exclusive offers. Taste the difference even more with Ciao Rewards.
439-Pizza Nova.
Communication is everywhere. But what is it? Communication is how you share your thoughts, your opinions, your culture, from what you see on TV to what you post online. But what about the people who are not being seen or heard? AMI is a media company that strives to be a voice for Canadians with portrayal, reflection, and accessible media. AMI believes everyone should be included, and that includes you. AMI is inclusion. Experience AMI at AMIplus.ca.
You're on Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Say Trevor Lawrence is a top 3 quarterback in this league right now, getting paid top 3. But again, I think it was a no-brainer decision for Jacksonville. If you draft a guy in the league right now and he's good, you're going to pay the guy, you're going to keep the guy. I mean, there was no other alternative, and I do think that we've seen some really good stuff from Trevor. Is there going to be, and have there been signs that maybe, all right, we've seen the good, and it certainly deserved to continue on here and get paid. Is there going to be a leap that we see where maybe he does enter himself in that conversation of a top 5, top 3?
Yeah, you got to remember how young this guy really is. Yes, it's his 4th year in the NFL coming up, but I mean the guy left college early, so he's still a young, developing athlete, player, and I think a lot was told about Trevor Lawrence to the organization. Yes, he was the first overall pick, but he was the guy that had to go out there every week during that 2021 campaign with Urban Meyer as the head coach, and he had to go out there and answer all these questions that not a lot of people wanted to answer. He was the one at the podium every week. Even when things went down at the end of the year, he was out there, he handled it. He was a rookie. He had no business doing that, but he did it. And he handled that with as much grace as he could. And I think that endeared him to the people of Jacksonville, that he was going through this with them. And I think that goes a long way. Then they brought in, of course, Doug Peterson, a guy who's worked with a lot of different quarterbacks at a high level. And they've kind of fit this thing together. And he's grown with the offense, with Press Taylor's scheme as well. And now it's to the point where Trevor Lawrence is right there with those guys, with Peterson and Press Taylor. He's involved in building this thing. And they've got the pieces around him now that have been around him now for 2 years. Christian Kirk comes to mind. Evan Ingram is another one of those at tight end. Those are the two guys that really make this thing click on offense. So there should be a step up, yes. Gabe Davis should be a step better than what he was filling in for last year. Brian Thomas has that over-the-top speed, and in time he'll have some things to go with that to help the offense. Can the line hold up for Trevor? I think that's the big key for Trevor's advancement moving forward. He doesn't need to be running around everywhere. He's got to hang on to the football, make some better decisions, yes. But there is so much room for him to grow and confidence in him around here. And not only the football leadership, but the ownership of the team. He's got it right there in front of him. And, he's got the work ethic, too, to go get it. A lot of guys might, okay, I'm here. I'm making $50 million a year. No, he's in early. He's there late. He's the guy that's in the trenches with everyone. And, you just feel like good things are going to happen at some point for him, no doubt.
The Jaguars receiving core, and you mentioned it a little bit, talking with J.P. Shadrick, covers the team for the Jaguars. It was an interesting offseason. They had the situation with Calvin Ridley. Are we bringing him back? Are we not? I thought there were a lot of signs that they would be bringing him back. They don't. They instead, pivot to Gabe Davis. And then they draft a receiver right away, as you mentioned, with Brian Thomas Jr. Are they satisfied with this core? And what happened there with Ridley? Because I thought that they had a good thing going on with him.
It felt like a little bit as the season went along, there might have been a little bit of a disconnect there. There were some moments where either the wrong route was being run or there was some confusion here or there, whether it was with the quarterback or the receiver, whatever it was. It just didn't seem like things were on the same page at times there with the Ridley deal. And there were moments like week 1, Indianapolis. He's going over 100 yards the first half of the game, right? And then there were moments where he would just disappear, and they couldn't find him open at all. And, he'd take a couple weeks and do that and then come back with a couple touchdowns, but then it would just kind of disappear again. So it just kind of felt like, okay, this was a great experiment because, remember, he was out of football for almost 2 years.
Right.
Roll the dice, and get something for him if he goes away in free agency. The compensatory formula at some point will come back. And so I think that was the grand idea. So rather than pay him big free agent money to keep him around, well, let's go get somebody that's a proven commodity that the wide receivers coach has worked with before, and he was in Buffalo before, so that made sense. So at least to the organization, it made sense. So is it, Ridley's a fantastic receiver, I think, still. I think he's still got some football ahead of him. But Gabe Davis is a guy that has done it with a big-time quarterback over the last few years. Can he take that next step with Trevor? And I think that's why they moved on with Ridley, because they found some other things that they could really work with.
Obviously, a lot of the focus this time of the year, we look at the offense and the depth chart and the skill guys. And then there's the whole defense, where Jacksonville, a little better against the run last year than maybe against the pass. They're investing a lot into that defense, though, and they have the last few years. Do we see a jump from them? Do we see a level of improvement in that defense? And as I'll also just throw in there, because this is a division too. We've talked to a Texans guy this week. We've talked to a Colts guy. AFC South, man, it hasn't been, the marquee division in the league for a while. But, oh, man, we'll see what happens with Tennessee. But I think the other three teams, if you tell me one of them wins 12 games and wins the division, and another wins 11 and is a wild card, and another wins 10 and is a wild card, I don't know who I'm slotting where, but I would believe it. This division's good, partly because of how good these offenses are. So Jacksonville, if they're going to be that 12th team or the division champ, they're going to need a little bit better performance on the back end, on the defense.
Yeah, everybody kind of knifes each other in this division. It's just cutthroat, really is. You can go split the division games all the way around, and you come to the end of the season, and it comes down to week 18 a lot of times. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
The defense is revamped, right? New coordinator in Ryan Nielsen was in Atlanta last year. They're coming in here and changing the scheme. They're going to be a core 4 down linemen front with a lot of different stuff at linebacker and the secondary. They like to play aggressive cornerback play, so a lot of press and bump and run and that kind of stuff, which is a little different style than what they had the last couple of years here. But they've spent some money on defense too now. Josh Hines Allen is getting paid through the nose, and he should because he had a big statistical year a season ago. They've got Trayvon Walker, who was the first overall pick, and he looks stronger and faster, and he should be better in a hand-in-the-ground situation. It wasn't, and he admitted the other day, I'm not going to miss going out in coverage, like he's a pass rusher and a defensive lineman. So that's the idea with those guys, right? And the anchor in the middle is a guy named Devon Hamilton, who was out a lot of last year with a spinal abscess. He's lucky to even be playing football right now, and he's back and looks really good so far in training camp. That's up front. They've got Foye Oluokun, who's led the league a 3 years in tackles, not last year, but the 2 or 3 years before that. They're moving him to the weak side, it feels like, and then they got Devin Lloyd, another first-round pick. They're going to move him to middle linebacker a little bit, see what happens there. In the secondary, Tyson Campbell just got a big contract. He hasn't been to a Pro Bowl yet, but he's another guy who was drafted here, high second round. They like the way he's improved over the last few years. They feel like he can go be aggressive. He's a big physical guy, and they've added some pieces in free agency to do that too. So they've got some safeties who are experienced. This is going to be an interesting defense because I don't know if really many people know what it's truly going to look like yet because you haven't seen it in a game. And they've got some different assistant coaches from different places. This is, hey, let's find out the first couple of weeks what the Jaguars really do on defense because they might have a couple different packages where they have Walker and Hines Allen on the field together or one or the other and rolling defensive linemen in. That's the idea here. And I hate to be that out of the way of it, but you just don't know what this thing's going to look like yet. There are good pieces, but how are they going to play it week to week? I think that's a great question.
Did they last year, they were overseas 2 weeks in a row, and they're doing that again this year, right?
That's correct, yep.
Do they like that? Because that's got to be somewhat of an advantage to them if they know they get 2 weeks in a row. Jacksonville and London, we're always like, oh, is Jacksonville going to move to London? No, but it's kind of been a unique relationship there. You would think that they could use that as their advantage.
Well, they certainly did last year, Bart, because they beat the Falcons and they beat the Bills. So you win 2 games over there. Guess what? That's an advantage all of a sudden, right?
Oh, yeah.
There have been other years when they lose. And, last year was the first year they played 2 in a row. Let's start a little bit from I'm not going to go the long story here, but Mr. Khan, the Jaguars owner, Shad Khan, loves to be that. He wants to be that international brand. He's an international businessman, and he wants his team to be on the world stage. Okay, that's the start of this thing. And he's made a deal with Wembley Stadium now directly to have a home game a year at Wembley each and every year, which means the Jaguars run everything from the security hiring to concessions to ticketing, everything. It's a true home game in London, right? And it worked out last year where one of the teams that the Jaguars were going to visit were designated home team at Tottenham Hotspur. That's the NFL package. So there's 2 games at Spurs. So it worked out. Mr. Khan's like, yeah, we'll try to stay 2 weeks in a row. Why not? So the Jags were there, I think, 10 nights in a row, got there Friday morning before the first game, and then stayed all week and practiced out in the countryside, and then came and played the second game, the other stadium, and then flew out. So that's the idea again this year. It's exactly what's going to happen. The Jaguars play the Bears at Tottenham Hotspur, and then the next week they'll play the New England Patriots at Wembley, and then they'll come on back home and play again the next week at home. So it's become kind of a routine, and they've done it so many years in a row. Some veteran players have done it a lot. There's a guy named Tyler Shatley, who's an offensive lineman who's played in every one since 2013. He's been here the whole time. He's the guy who's played in the most London games in the history of the NFL. So he gets it. You know when to sleep. You know when to wake up. You're going to have to run on the practice field Friday when you get there at 6 a.m. You're going to be on the practice field at about 1 and do a walkthrough. On Saturday, you'll do it at the stadium. You're going to play Sunday, and then you're just going to go on about your business because that's what it is. Strictly business. There's a few days off, but then you go play football games, and It's in the midst of the season. It's not like there's a bye week the next week anymore like there used to be. You got to be locked in and focused and move on to the next thing. And they did a good job of that last season. Let's see if they can do it again. And this year, I mean, they're playing the Bears and the Patriots. 2 rookie quarterbacks most likely are playing against them. So there's an opportunity there for the Jaguars to go take a couple.
Yeah, if there's a strategy where we won 2 games, sign me up for that again if we can try to benefit from that. Should be a fun season with that whole division, but specifically I think there's continued optimism with everything that is going on in Jacksonville and with that team. JP, appreciate your time. We will find a reason, and we will bug you again down the road.
Hey, anytime, Bart. Good to talk with you, man. Have a good one.
I appreciate it. That is JP Shadrick, covers the Jaguars, senior reporter. And, I'm sure he doesn't mind a little 10-day jaunt to London on the company dime either. I would take that pretty good. 855-212-4227. A former Jaguars legend is retiring. One of the more complicated legacies of anyone that has ever played. A Super Bowl champion, basically had 2 really good games. And he is hanging them up. He is hanging them up. We'll bring you the sad retirement of Big D Nick coming up. Here is Marco Belletti.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
All right, Bart, we're sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your home and auto. Save when you bundle. Get a quote at Progressive.com. The U.S. men's basketball team moved one step closer to a 5th straight gold medal, rallying to beat Serbia 95-91. Kevin Durant and company trailed by as many as 17 points. Were able to punch their ticket to the gold medal match versus Victor Wembanyama and Team France on Saturday.
We are planning the gold medal game, an opportunity to get another gold, but we're not going to be together for, once we finish here. And it was just a joy being in the locker room with these guys, on the bus, just talking life with these guys, and then hooping on the floor with them. Like, just the best team I've ever been a part of, and I want us to finish it off with a gold.
Cindy McLaughlin-Laverne shattered her own record in the women's 400-meter hurdle, setting a new mark and winning her 2nd consecutive gold medal in the event. And American sprinter Nora Lyles tested positive for COVID-19, ran the 200-meter race anyway, and still captured the gold medal. NFL preseason, the 3rd overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, Drake May made his debut for the Patriots against the Panthers. He wasn't out there long, though. May played a total of just 6 snaps, completing 2 of his 3 passes. New England won the game 17-3. Joint practices continuing today. However, one individual that did not partake was Aaron Rodgers. Because of rainy weather, Jets head coach Robert Saleh decided that his 40-year-old quarterback would sit against the Commanders.
He pushed back. He won the go, but it's not. In the grand scheme of things, we're trying to keep forward thinking with regards to week 1, and we got a long wait for that, and he'll have other opportunities coming up with Carolina and the Giants.
Saleh has said that Rodgers will not play in the first 2 preseason games. Baseball, the White Sox have fired manager Pedro Grifoli. Scores right now going on in the top of the 5th, scoreless between the Diamondbacks and the Phillies, and no score in Seattle between the Mariners and Tigers. That game in the top half of the 5th inning. Finals, the Blue Jays held off the Orioles 7-6, while the Angels topped the Yankees 9-4. Padres rallied to beat the Pirates 7-6 for their 5th straight win. I'm Tony Pierno.
It's Carl Dukes on the Infinity Sports Network. We're talking NFL, NBA, Big 12, Mountain West, and the biggest stories in sports. Available on the Odyssey app.
She won the Critics' Choice Award for her Netflix special, Welcome to Buteaupia. And now Michelle Buteau is bringing her hilarious act to OLG Stage at Fallsview Casino November 2nd.
Y'all ain't ready.
The perfect show to get your friends together for a night of laughs.
Are you crying? Did you pee yourself a little bit? Yeah, me too.
Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster. Michelle Buteau, November 2nd, OLG Stage at Fallsview Casino.
Welcome to Utopia.
Meet Jane. She just realized TSC.ca has exciting offers every day.
Exciting offers?
Every single day. And with top brands and products, you'll go from casual Jane to chic Jane.
Ooh.
Or cleaning Jane.
With Dyson, that'll be easy.
And for Chef Jane,
Vitamix and KitchenAid, love it.
with the Today's Showstopper Best Price Promise and interest-free Easy Pay, you'll love the savings too.
Sign me up.
Shop exciting offers every day at tsc.ca.
Communication is everywhere. But what is it? Communication is how you share your thoughts, your opinions, your culture, from what you see on TV to what you post online. But what about the people who are not being seen or heard? AMI is a media company that strives to be a voice for Canadians with disabilities.